What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, April 13th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have a ton of afternoon baseball today. We start with Mr. Gogster joining us from Belleville, Ontario. And then the Big Ragoo will open up his MLB account here on the show. The Legend Ragoo will be joining us today to break down the entire MLB card, and that's going to pop off in 27 minutes. Only 3 games of NHL to break down for Mr. Gogster and I. So at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, we'll start breaking down MLB, and we have a ton of afternoon action. And then we have Darryl Rice joining us to break down the 2 play-in games, and they were fascinating play-in games. And we had either side of the fence yesterday in the Clippers Timberwolves, and Pistol Pete Loshak and Dennis Garcia end up on top, and Jose didn't bet a stake, so it didn't hurt Jose. It did a little bit, obviously, with his own action, but no stake on the line, no harm, no foul. And Zach Lowe, ESPN senior writer Zach Lowe, just said that Scotty Barnes should win Rookie of the Year, and that would be one of my biggest wins in a few years. And I don't want to get too excited about it. And I don't want my girlfriend to know anything about it either. I want all this to be kept between you and I, very private. But maybe we'll tell Ella.
I'll never forget your face when I told you that Scotty Barnes was back in the race. It was like I gave you manna from heaven.
It would be an enormous deal for me. It would be a huge, huge deal for me if that would happen. So I'm pretty excited that Zach Lowe. And then look, I'm not going to count fucking chickens here. I am, though, wearing another Pub Sports Radio shirt here. This is a real bet. Slaughter put down $5K on Liverpool. This is a real ticket here on my chest.
A couple of my rubles are in there too.
Oh, really? You were involved in this one?
Yeah, so was Preston. Don't let Jeff take all the glory. I had like $200 in there. I need some credit.
Hey, look, $200 is I cut my unit size down from 200 to 150. So $200 is a real bet, a legitimate real bet. Yesterday was fucking painstaking. So I open up the day. I have go to Sherway, go to the mall. I had to fix my girlfriend's phone, have the kids with us. Seattle White Sox don't score in the first inning. The first 5 doesn't go over 4.5. And Chicago-Pittsburgh show no offense whatsoever. So I'm down 0-3, and my mood changes. I'm trying not to let it affect me as a father, but it did! Then New York Mets, Philly goes easily under the 4.5. Milwaukee and Baltimore score 8 runs in the first 3 innings. Yankees score 3 runs in the first 3 innings. So I have the Milwaukee Baltimore over 9. I have Yankees team total over 4.5. And the Cardinals go up 3-0. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. I'm going to end up 4-3. It's going to be just fine. The Brewers score 1 run over the final 6 innings. The Baltimore Orioles score 0. So I push that. The Yankees score just 1 more run in the game. So I lose that. And the Cardinals win 6-5. So I push that. Had a good night in NHL. 5-3 plus 1.97 units. But it was very, very, very frustrating going 1-4 in MLB. Very, 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 very frustrating. I was pretty certain that I was going to turn the day around. I did not. Sabres +2 at +104. I wish I was less safe, but that cashed easily. Sabres team total over 2.5 cashed easily. Pistol Pete Loshak tripled up on the game. I was afraid to have $450 on the game, so I did not bet the first period, which also cashed. Red Wings -1 was terrible. When we're dealing with shit teams, why would you bet one that's a favorite? Now, I took a -1 plus 127, but that loss. Wild -1 was well done. Kraken first period plus a half was well done. Cash. Tampa Dallas over 6 was poor, but seeing Dallas beat the Tampa Bay Lightning did give me a tiny sliver of hope. Now they're going to have, if they make the playoffs, they're going to either have to play the Flames or the Avalanche in the first round. So let's not get too excited. But Devils -1 was very easy. Devils Arizona under 6.5. I thought was going to cash. 3 goals scored in the last 2 minutes of the second period. 2 goals scored in the last 45 seconds of the second period. Pissed me off. But 5 and 3 plus 1.97 units, and I feel like I capped the card well. I stayed off the Rangers when there was a red flag market movement. I feel like I capped the card well, and I'd like to carry that over with Mr. Gogster right now and today. I'm very excited to see all of you guys. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. The baseball's here. We got NBA playoffs. We got NHL Stanley Cup playoffs around the corner. It's a very exciting time of year. Chris Drobny in the house. It's great to see you. Danny A. Sammy Comer on Liverpool. Benfica under 3.5. Madrid plus 0.75. Atlanta Hawks -5.5. 2 units. So that's gone from 4.5 to 5.5. Mets no run first inning. Rangers Flyers over 6.5. -1.5. Let's have a day, says Sammy Comer. I will copy and paste all of Sammy's action right now. Pop that here on my worksheet. Thank you for sharing that, Sammy. We got Matty Ice in the house, the famed taint play of the day. Cardinals versus lefties. Of course, taint cashes the Cardinals team total over 4.5. Not me. I took Cardinals -1. Got fucking chump. Barrios has a 1.08 ERA. I'm not sure what to do with that game. I've made 3 bets in MLB. And I was going to make additions, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on anything. We'll break it all down. Elio in the house. We are in talks to sponsor both Elio and Nut Flush Allen in the World Series of Poker main event. We're discussing that as if it's a possibility, and we'll all get a chance to invest in these 2 excellent poker players. And it might be something that we do a lot more of in the future, and it's very, very exciting. And I, too, would like to play in the World Series poker. I'm not going to do it this year. I think that the best thing to do is to support our guys year one. But if this is something that we can start doing, Pub Sports Radio, sponsoring our friends and colleagues to play in the World Series of Poker main event, 10K buy-in, I think it's something that we should think very seriously about. There's Mark Schillingberg in the house. We got Clint starting the Die Hard MMA podcast coming off a monster UFC 273. Now Flush Allen in the house. There's Guillermo Zertucci, the Kentucky Derby right around the corner. God, I'm just getting ready to start screaming nonstop. Also, I'm going to try really to dry out until the Derby. The Derby will be cracking. Infused glory right here all day Derby action right here. Puzzler in the house. There's Slatsy 6-2 plus 4.8 2 unit squad. Beautiful. He says also tailed Matty Ice says his chat is glorious on Rangers regulation and Jackets team total 3.5. Okay, I know we got to move because now we only have 20 minutes for 3 games in the NHL, but that's no problem. That is no problem. We can do that. Gogster and I can do that. Napa, the problem. Danny Lopez in the house. There's Jedi for life. Haven't seen Jedi in a minute. Great to see you. No nasty name. We're going to finish NHL fast. Don't worry. LJ from H-Town. By the way, LJ from H-Town will be screen testing with me this afternoon because you will see more of my guy LJ from H-Town. We'll see more. North Ender says we got that Rangers Canes first period under and no goal. That was gorgeous action. I should have been on it. There's Nasty Nate. I love my guy Nasty Nate. Cornhole King. I maybe Razor would say that you guys are a team in that. Sammy Comer, Ron Crawford, serious business. Dennis Garcia, real deal prime. By the way, that loss was the wild win. Not only was it solid capping, and we haven't seen a lot of it this year from me in NHL. But it also really made me think we're just about to cash that Flames division winner that Mr. Dennis Garcia gave to us all at plus 210. Big Ragoo, there he is right there. He's going to be joining the show with his MLB. Nasty Nate cashed on them Wolves. I stayed off of it. There's Teflon Dawn in the house. Says Pub Mafia. Let's get it. Respect. Thank you for the kind words. We got Teflon Dawn and that was Real Deal Prime. Spreadsheet play of the day is in. Rangers on the -1 line. And I can't look, seeing Atkinson go down and Carter Hart go down, I can completely understand the move on the Rangers. Completely. I just after a team loses 9-2 and I know. I'm very interesting. I'm very, very, very interesting. Very interested, I should say. Interested in that game. Just because I want to know what kind of heart we're dealing with this Ranger squad. All right. I wish I could. Okay. You know what? Let me lean on Jose here. Jose, can you help me tag or just if you could copy and paste the action from our cappers right now, because we got to get into NHL because we got baseball popping off and I can't do this anymore. We got to get Gogster on. I'd love to give a shout out to all of you because you all deserve it. You guys are the ones that make this show so special. Thank you for joining the chat, sharing your insights, sharing your humor, and inspiring all the cappers that you see here on Pub Sports Radio. There's Fat Wally in the house, my guy, Fat Wally. Real Deal Prime says Cards game will not be played today. Yes, I know that one is postponed. Oh, no. Nilo, I hate hearing that. Prison Pocket Day last night. I hate hearing that. And if you followed my MLB, then that would have been it. Kenny says I look pretty today. Well, thank you. You're probably the only one. If a stranger said that to me in public, I would pull out the sharpened chopstick. It wouldn't happen here in Parkdale because nobody says anything nice about anybody in Parkdale. That's how Parkdale works, man. That's how Parkdale works. All right. Love you guys. Let's get to work right now. And thank you all so much for joining us. And Jose's going to look over your action and copy and paste it for me. All right. And Nasty Nate says, stab him. That's right. I'm pumped up. It felt good just to kind of look. NHL's just not been good for me this year, but I felt like I capped it pretty smoothly last night, and I'd like to carry it over. So let's bring on an NHL expert, pride of Belleville, Ontario. Please welcome Mr. Gogster to the show. Gogster, what's happening?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing today? Coming in hot, ready to rock. It's been a rough battle with the hockey season this year, guys, but you just keep the stick on the ice. You're always ready for the puck. You know what I mean, Jimmy? Get the tape on the stick and just keep your head up, guys. That's hockey for you. You're gonna get flattened a couple times, but we're going to come back at a nice small card, Jim. I like these small cards, buddy. I seem to do better. And, yeah, let's rock. You hear about the Winnipeg game there, guys? They're going to have a snowstorm of 30 centimeters.
Yes.
That should be criminal. Like, the poor people in Winnipeg. Like, no
wonder what centimeters are.
Oh, they don't know the metric system, Mr.
Sorry, I'm Canadian, eh? Sorry, guys. I don't got the conversion, but it's a lot of fucking snow in the middle of April.
Yes, a lot of snow in the middle of April, and but the people in Winnipeg chose to be in Winnipeg, so they chose
to do heroin, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean they don't. There's not a lot of heroin as much as well. Let's not get into the struggles of Winnipeg because Winnipeg has a very big Aboriginal community, and I don't want it to sound like I'm making fun of the First Nations who were here first, and this is their land. All right, let's get to work. New York Rangers at Philadelphia Flyers. Rangers 47-21-6, 23-13-2 on the road at the Philadelphia Flyers, 23-39-11, 13-18-6 at home. We're at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Both teams are on the second half of a back-to-back after losses last night. We have Alexander Georgiev, 12-9-2, 3.03 goals against average, 894 save percentage, one shutout. And I don't know who he is. I really don't, Gogster. There's times when I'm like, man, he looks like an excellent young goaltender. And there's other times where I'm like, I don't know who he is. Martin Jones may be in net. Will he be in net? 10-15-3, 3.36 goals against average, 902 save percentage, no shots. Rangers power play at 25.9%, penalty killing at 81.8%. Philadelphia power play at 12.8%, penalty killing at 76.0%. Let's bring up the market movement and then set a quick table for Mr. Gogster here and all markets. And here we go. The Rangers open up at minus 210, and now they're at minus 200.
Yeah.
And that is a little telling to me. Not that I think anyone moving on the Rangers is making a mistake. I just, after a team gets embarrassed like the Flyers did last night, you have to think that they come back and play a lot better, sort of like the Red Wings did when they got beaten up 11-2 by the Penguins. This total opened up at 6, juice to the under. It's now a pick'em it opened up at 6, slightly juice to the over. It's now a pick'em or juiced to the under. Rangers had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 4-2 loss home to the Hurricanes in the battle for first place in the Met last night, which must have made you very happy, Mr. Gogster.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, my Hurricanes, baby.
Chris Kreider became the only the fourth player in Rangers history to score 50 goals in the season. We went over their numbers and who has the most power play goals, remember, about a few weeks ago. But it is Jagger with the franchise record, 54 goals in 2005-06. That was the year after the lockout. Then we have Adam Graves, 52 goals in the 93-94 season. That absolutely broke my heart when they beat the Canucks in 7 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. And then Vic Hadfield, who's not spoken enough about in 71-72, picked up 50 goals himself.
Nice.
Flyers coming off ugly 9-2 loss at Washington last night. Carter Hart left the game first period with a lower body injury. Cam Atkinson playing a 700th game, also lower body injury. They're both expected to be unavailable. Bobby Brink looked like he fit in nice. He got an assist on JVR's second goal of the game, and JVR reached 20 goals for the 7th time in his 13-year NHL career. Take it away, Mr. Gogster, Rangers, Flyers.
Yeah, guys. So, just seeing this Bobby Brink. I hate to say it, but I haven't watched many Flyers games, Jimmy. I'm not too familiar with this Bobby Brink. Can you maybe inform me a little bit on him?
I can. That was his first game of his career. He was the NCAA's leading scorer this year in college hockey, and he's just 5'8" and 160 pounds.
Firecracker. I love hockey players like that. So this game here, guys, Martin Jones. If Jimmy's saying here, sorry guys, I wasn't able to. Did he get relieved there, Jimmy Carter Hart, from that game, or was he?
He's hurt. He got hurt. He's done for the year, it looks like.
And Jones allowed 6 goals, too. It's going to be a back-to-back. I'm just looking at the transactions for their AHL team, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and they've sent Felix Sandstrom. So that would be the only other option would be Sandstrom, Jimmy. And he's not bad, but this game, guys, I don't have a lot of action on it, to be honest. It's a back-to-back for both teams, Jimmy. Gorgiev and his career, I know I haven't brought this up in a while, but I'm going back to the old career numbers because he's only been on the Rangers, right? He's got a better defense in front of him, but he's got a .935 save percentage against Philadelphia. Gorgiev does, and a 1.85 goals against. So he's definitely been strong against this team, despite having only a 4-3 record. Looking at the power plays there, Jimmy, since the month of March 1st, guys, this power play for the Rangers is 45%, Jim, on the road. That's only in about 10-12 game sample size, but 45% power play for the Rangers. That's deadly, to say the least. You could say there could be some regression coming, but we're going up against an 80% penalty kill in the Flyers. 72% penalty kill for the Rangers tells me they're a little bit susceptible on the back end, and you're not going to have your number one goalie in Shesterkin. The more I think about this, the more maybe there could be goals here, Jimmy. I don't have a good feel on the total here, buddy. But looking at the side, I'm thinking of adding this in a money line parlay. I didn't tweet this out. I was really humming and hawing between adding this in a money line parlay, but I'm probably not going to have any action on it. I lean towards the Rangers winning this, but it's not a game I want to have my money on, Jim.
It makes me uncomfortable. Makes me uncomfortable. I forget the capper who it was, but when I first went down to Costa Rica, there was this capper who would blind bet any basketball team that lost by 30 plus points and blind bet any hockey team that lost by 5+ goals the following game. And his ROI was excellent doing that. And so I'm
the Rangers, though, are they got to be honestly one of the best defensive teams. And you've had Shesterkin to make them look really good, but their defense, Jim, they're no slouch by any means. And the Rangers need this game, do they not? In the standings, I was looking at the standings, and I'm just looking at them here. Bring them up quickly. Yeah, they're 4 points back. So if they get this win, they're going to be only one win back from Carolina for first place. So it is an important game for the Rangers. Philadelphia, on the other hand, they're 57th, second last in the East behind Montreal. So it's a tough spot back-to-back for both teams. I'm going to pass on the game, Jimmy.
I plan on passing on it as well. Let's move on to the next game on the card, and our Res Mob is on these very Blue Jackets. There's Jeffrey Blue in the house. Charlie Richard says, Dommy Gun tailed you on all 3 of your show picks. Thank you. And you're going to see more of Dommy Gun right here on Pub Sports Radio. I want to work with him very badly, and I miss him very much. Guy. Montreal Canadiens 20-42-11, 10-21-7 on the road at the Columbus Blue Jackets, 34-33-6, 18-15-4 at home. Again, we're moving on to MLB in 8 minutes. Don't worry, Big Ragoo is joining us, and we will be attacking MLB baseball, afternoon baseball. We have Sammy Montembeault was listed. I don't know if he is being confirmed, but was listed 7-15-6, 3.59 goals against average, 8.96 save percentage, 1 shutout. Going up against Elvis Merzlikins, 24-19-6, 3.40 goals against average, 904 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Let's see who we are dealing with here in this spot. We have the Canadiens opening up as plus 163 dogs. That's down to plus 140. So the Jackets did open up at minus 200, and that's down to minus 159 to 165. This total opened up at 6.5, slightly juiced to the under. It's still slightly juiced to the under, or a minus 120, depending on where you shop. Montreal power play 13.4%, penalty killing 74.8%. Columbus power play at 17.2%, penalty killing at 78.7%. Montreal comes in off a 4-2 loss at home to Winnipeg on Monday night. Third loss in 4 games, 8th in their last 11. Jake Allen done for the season. Rookie defenseman Justin Barron done for the season.
That's too bad.
It's looking from the Jacket side of things. They've come in off their second win in 3 games, 5-4 at Detroit on Saturday night. And it looks like Captain Boone Jenner, will not come back this year. He has not been ruled out. Some players have. He's not been. But I don't expect. I
don't see why he comes back when they're out of the playoffs, right? There's no reason.
Exactly. 5-4 win at Detroit on Saturday night comes on the heels of that. The 2 wins in 3 games comes on the heels of a 7-game losing streak. And we get to see more young phenoms. We saw 4 yesterday, and it was very, very fun watching them. And today we hopefully get to see Kent Johnson, another one of the Wolverines, who were supposed to win it all, but were knocked out in the semis of the Frozen Four. NCAA, he was one of the top scorers. So he had 37 points in 32 games on the stacked Michigan squad. He's from Port Moody, just outside of Vancouver. I played in the barn at Port Moody many times, probably 25, 30 times.
Nice barn or what? Is it a nice barn?
No, but it's just, it's been there and
old school
for 100 years. And
yeah.
So this kid, Kent Johnson, is 6'1", 167 pounds, pass first center.
That's myself.
And it's also Wayne Gretzky. He looks a lot like Gretzky. Looks like Gretzky. Now, look, he's not going to be Gretzky in it, but physically, blonde hair, slight, tall, low to the ice. It's pretty fun to watch. Pass first centerman.
I hope they got a tough guy on Columbus then.
I did not want to mention Gretzky, but it's impossible not to when you look at the kid, just physically. Okay. He put up 101 points in 52 games for the Trail Smoke Eaters of the BCHL before moving on to the University of Michigan. But he's not the one I really want to see. I want to see Nick Blankenberg. So he was undrafted, unwanted. He is a defenseman. He rose to become the captain of this Michigan Wolverines team. So he's an offensive defenseman. He's 23 years old, and he's 5'8" and 152 pounds.
Are you serious? Holy fuck.
He played for the Okotoks Oilers of the AJHL. Of course, you can't play in juniors if you want to play in college. And I'm very interested to see what a 150-pound defenseman can do and if he can possibly clear the front of the net. What can he? I don't know. But nobody believed in this kid. Nobody thought he'd ever get a chance to get signed by an NHL team. Nobody thought he'd ever be the captain of the Michigan Wolverines. And when you keep breaking people's thoughts about then there's no limit. There's no ceiling. Take it away here, Mr. Gogster. Habs Jackets.
Wow, you laid that out just unbelievable there, Jimmy. This game here, guys, Montembeault and Merzlikins, 2 goalies for the most part have been susceptible all year. Merzlikins has definitely been the better of the 2. He's 13-9-4 at home. .907 save percentage, 3.23 goals against. Now against Montreal in his career, he's 2-0-1 with a .935 save percentage and a 1.95 goals against. So he has had some good numbers against Montreal. But I do think Montreal here, guys, they're going to be coming out guns a-blazing. They're coming off those 2 losses, 3-2, 4-2 against Montreal or against Toronto and Winnipeg. Before that, they did beat New Jersey Devils 7-4. Looking at the penalty kills, you're getting 2 penalty kills too, guys. Home and road split since the month of March. 74% for Montreal, 73% for Columbus. So they're very. If you get the power plays going here, I expect some goals to happen. Offensively, take out Drouin. This team's completely healthy, Montreal, and they got Gallagher all the way down the 3rd line too, Jimmy. So with Montreal here, I like their lines with Anderson, Suzuki, Caulfield, and their number 1. That's what worked in the playoffs. That's what they got going on right now. Hoffman, Evans, Pitlick, and then Gallagher, Dvorak, and Armia on the 3rd line. That's a good 3rd line to go up against the opposition's 3rd line. So then even Byron, Pooling, and Yolanen. Defensively, Edmondson, Petrie, Ramonov, Savard, Harris, and then Schulmanen came up from the Laval Rockets. I think we're going to see some goals, to be short and sweet about this, guys. I'm taking the first period, Jimmy. Both teams to score. That's at plus 140. Both teams are not going to be playing. They're not going to be playing tomorrow, so they're going to have some rest. I do like that. So there's no look ahead really here. You got the Islanders for Montreal, and you have the LA Kings for Columbus. They're about to start a long road trip. I just expect some goals here. Coming off those 2 losses from Montreal, at home, Columbus can score against anybody. They can score against Boston, against Toronto, you name it. So this Montreal team with Montembeault, I think they're susceptible. So I am going to take both teams to score in the first period, guys. That's a nice plus 140. And I'm even on the over. I don't like taking many over 6.5, Jimmy, but I found it at plus 100. I believe that's still available. Plus 100 over 6.5, guys, in this game. Another thing I didn't bring up was first period, second period, third period goals. 11, 16, 11, 18, 14, 14 against. It doesn't get much better for Columbus either, Jimmy. Both teams are letting goals. They're scoring goals. So I'm just going to ride with the goal option here. In first period, get a nice plus 140. I like that option too.
Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. But I don't.
There's a lot of. The more you talked, I didn't know as much about those about Ken Johnson and that young defenseman. So it's interesting. It's an interesting angle there because we don't exactly know as much, but I would think there's going to be some mistakes with these guys coming up from the college level, and a Montreal team that, this is pretty much the offense you're seeing that took them to the Stanley Cup Finals. So they have some goals in them, and I do still think Columbus do as well. So I think
I kind of think the opposite with these kids. I think there's no risk taking by them, none, zero. I think that they play within themselves and don't take any risks whatsoever. Just because you got to earn the respect and earn the right to take risks. Look,
I agree. These are top players. Like if he's a captain for Michigan, obviously the guy's accountable.
Imagine when he came on. He's played all 4 years at Michigan. Imagine when he showed up in year 1 at 5'8". If he's 162 pounds now or whatever he is, imagine what he was 4 years ago. But look, I completely get the look. These games don't appeal to me. I can understand. Derek Miller saying, "Easy, Jimmy. Colorado money or Rangers. We're here to make money." Look, I get it. I get it.
That would be the easy thing. Yeah, just take a Colorado, New York Rangers money line, and that's what I wanted to do. But it's not the angles I'm going at here, guys.
I get it. And look, I had a ton of action in NHL last night, and needed the money to take because of the bad baseball night that I ended up having.
Put food on the plate. That's right.
But I'm very excited about this baseball card, and I just don't need to reach right now. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern, the final game on the card. LA Kings, 39-26-10, 21-10-6 on the road at the Colorado Avalanche, 52-14-6, 28-4-3 at home. We're at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. We got Peterson going up against Kemper. Peterson, 20-13-1. We expect Peterson. Let me know if that's wrong. 2.79 goals against average, 8.99 save percentage, 3 shutouts against Kemper, 34-9-3, 2.37 goals against average, 9.26 save percentage, 5 shutouts. Kings, 16.6% power play, 77.2% penalty killing, and the Avs, 25% power play, 79% penalty killing. So, look, I should have been on the Kings last night because the Blackhawks are such trash. But
I was Colin Delia going.
Yes, but I mean, I'd rather have him and then Lankinen at this point. But I hear you. I didn't because I don't know what to make of this really young defense. This total opened up at 6 at a pick'em. It's now juiced to the under, and the Avs opened up at minus 240. They're still at 250 at some books. There's 260s, and FanDuel has moved them to minus 275. Kings are on the second half of back-to-back after snapping their 3-game losing streak last night in the 5-2 win at the Blackhawks. So we know that Doughty is done for the year, and Edler has been a hurt bag all year, and he's hurt right now. Yeah. But I'm telling you that Trevor Moore, Philip Deneau, Victor Arvidsson line has playoffs written all over it. It's too bad. It's too bad that they don't have more experienced defensemen, because that line is like your perfect playoff hockey line. We talked yesterday about Slatsy was talking about how he loved the way Deneau was able to shut down Matthews last year. I don't know if anyone's capable of shutting him down with the way he's playing right now, talking about Matthews in that regard, but that line is nasty. Avalanche are a rested group. They coming off their 6th straight win, 2-1 in a shootout at Edmonton last night, and they can set a franchise record for wins but they're going to set the franchise record at some point. Do they need to do it tonight? Landeskog has not returned to the ice yet. Bednar is expecting him to return soon and be ready for the playoffs. We will see. Nazem Kadri's missed the last 4 games with an upper body injury. Unclear when he will return. Samuel Girard is back, and Ryan Murray has missed 9 straight games since blocking a shot with his arm. Kadri and Murray did not participate during Monday's practice and are not expected back in the lineup. Nate Dogg says Kadri to score anytime. So are you saying Nate Dogg Kadri's back because he's missed 4 straight games?
I think he's out until the same time as Landeskog, from what I saw, guys.
I do not expect him in the lineup. Yeah, I'm surprised to see that Nate Dogg's talking about him there. All right, take it away here. Much love, Derek. Much love, man. Look, we're a team, and no matter what's going on outside, we can always come here and cap together and just shut down all the bullshit and just focus on what we love so much. And we love capping with you, Derek. Take it away here. Last game on the card, Gogster, and we got to be quick. Kings, Avalanche.
All right, let's be quick, guys. MLB is coming right up with our guy, Big Ragoo. This one here, someone in the chat brought it up earlier. Colorado, New York Rangers, moneyline parlay. Could be the easy play, but more dove into this game, guys. Colorado's defense, since they're healthy on the DN, they've allowed the least amount of goals since the last pretty much 4 weeks, Jimmy, on their D, and especially at home. Only 19 goals against. That being 4, 8, and 6. They've only allowed 4, 8, and 6 goals, Jim. Defensively, these guys are really accountable, and you got an LA Kings team on a back-to-back. It could very well be a Colorado win, but just the team they have up from the LA Kings, guys, it's a dangerous Ontario Reign team for the most part. These guys don't care. Jimmy said it's hard to say what you're going to get from this team. You got Jersey, Spence here, but this Jersey guy, he's been ready. Offensively, though, Kayev, Byfield, Velarde, Kapari, even Kempe. It's a dangerous team. Offensively, this team's pretty dangerous. That's why I'm a little hesitant, but defensively, Colorado's been really good. They're coming off of, what do we have here? A bit of a road trip. Pittsburgh's Winnipeg, Edmonton. So they're coming off that road trip, Jimmy. I expect it to be a slow start here, guys. Slow start. No goal, first 9 minutes, 30 seconds. It's the back-to-back for the Kings, and just how well defensively Colorado's been playing. Pettersson's the only question mark I have. He's just hold his own here. Quick went last night, guys. I don't expect him to be going again. If Quick's going again, I'm dead. I'm in trouble. If Quick's going again, guys, then I don't mind that money line parlay with the Rangers in Colorado. But with Pettersson going, I think it's going to be no goals early, no goal in the first 9 minutes, 30 seconds. You can get that at Bovada in the States, Bodog in Canada. That's at plus 132, Jimmy. Great number on that one, plus 130. I was looking at the no goal first 10 minutes. It was about plus 111 or plus 120. So
wow.
Find it at Bovada there, guys. No goal first 9 minutes, 30 seconds in this one, plus 130. The way Colorado's been playing, it seems like they're playing that what I've been talking about. They're getting ready for the playoffs. Defensively, Jimmy, 4, 8, and 6. They're looking good. And Kemper's 18, 3, and 1 at home. He's a dangerous goalie at home with a .925 save percentage and a 2.32 goals against. So this is a team that's, if they can get Landeskog and Kadri healthy, this is the year for Colorado. Maybe it is. We'll see. So, no goal first 9 minutes, 30 seconds, and let's cast some fucking tickets here, guys.
Hunter says, damn, look at that jawline on that guy. Save some biddies for the rest of us.
I appreciate it.
Great stuff, Mr. Gogster. Very thankful to have you on the show because this card, I just want to talk baseball so badly, and this card did really little for me. But nice to hear all the action that you have. At this point,
want me to recap it?
I got it right here. At this point, we're staying off of Rangers Flyers. Then Gogster's on the first period, both teams to score in Montreal, Columbus. He's got the over 6.5 at plus 100, so plus 140, plus 100. And then he has the no goal first 9 minutes, 30 seconds at plus 130. It is now time to get into MLB. Mr. Gogster, I hope you can stick around in the chat and give us your insights as we go through. Love capping with you. We got a big NHL card tomorrow, so let's get.
I got a 12-hour shift coming up, guys, so I'll be tons of time to do research. I'll be going until 3:30 in the morning, so we got plenty of time to cap.
So you'll be doing very little at work, focusing on
exactly.
There's my guy. There's my guy. Follow Mr. Gogster on Twitter. I'm going to pop his Twitter handle here. Another very selfless capper whom I love dearly. It is time to talk MLB. I'm just going to pop Mr. Gogster's Twitter handle here in the chat. And every time your guest joins me, he raises the level of everybody's capping And I had the best NCAA college bull run of my life working with him. I went 27-9 against the spread, and I beat him by less than half a unit. My greatest year of my life is just an average ho-hum year for your next guest, and he's got all of his focus on MLB, and you will see him here weekly. Please welcome to the show, the Big Ragoo in the house.
Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, we didn't do a sound check. Am I sounding all right, man?
Yeah, we got the best producer in the game, so don't worry.
Yeah, he love it.
He will work around you. He can mess with the volume. There's Sharpie says Big Ragoo is a real one. OG, we don't think he's better than anyone, even though he is. Respect to the man. That's what he says right there. And speaking of great cappers, Sharpie's Prize Picks is an excellent show. We have great MLB capping all through the day, and his show is 3:10 p.m. Eastern, and then we have Say Hey plays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with Jose Bouquet. Great stuff. Ragoo, it is a pleasure to work with you. We got afternoon action 42 minutes away. How has the baseball season been for you thus far, and what are your takeaways before we go into game-by-game analysis?
Yeah, I just a quick synopsis how I break down baseball. Usually early on, I'm not on a lot of action. I like to go through a couple rotations so I kind of get somewhat of a feel, especially early on with this shortened spring season, especially. So I'll be on some stuff, but normally I like to look at a lot of first fives, a lot of team totals, and then go after some shitty bullpens for totals also, full game totals. So, and that's how I'm going to break it down early on for the most part. But now I don't have all my analytical shit today, which I was talking to you about. So we're going to have to, I'm still trying to feel my way out. I've got a couple sites I'm looking at right now. I told you about the StatHead site yesterday. It's a paid site. It's like $8 a month. So I know we lost the baseball data, so I'm trying to replace that. But in the most part, just checking lineups and the pitching matchups more to see what we get.
Yeah, it's throwing us for a little bit of a loop. Nothing that we can't handle without having baseball.
We've been fucking gambling our whole lives, right? So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's get to work. We have a ton of afternoon MLB action, and our first spot is just 41 minutes away. Let's get to work, Big Ragoo. Washington Nationals 2-4, 1-1 on the road at the Atlanta Braves, defending Major League Baseball champions. 3-3. All 6 games have been played at home in Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's get started with just going over the weather here. The hell is it? There we go. Let's start with the weather and daily baseball data. I took a lot of heat for trusting their weather. It was the one thing where Loshak didn't like their weather report. Thought they were kind of off. So I don't mind. It's just the other things that they offered us, especially the batter versus pitcher and just how quickly we could get around. It was Now we need multiple sites for what that one site did for us. But I think Swish Analytics gives me a better look of the weather. In Nats Braves, 4.2 miles per hour in 67 Fahrenheit at first pitch, and it's like that's what am I talking about? That's at 12 in the okay, sorry, I'm still getting used to reading it. Sorry, that's at 12 a.m. At 12 p.m., 13.1 miles per hour in, goes up to 15.8 miles per hour, and then closes at 11.4 miles per hour. So a heavy wind coming in, 73 Fahrenheit at first pitch. We have Josiah Gray going up against Max Fried. Josiah Gray went 4 innings, allowed 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and 7-3 loss at home versus the Mets. Fried, on the other hand, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, no homers, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and a 6-3 loss at home to the Reds to get his season started. The Nats versus lefties. Now, when I'm going to give you the lefties versus righties and the bullpen stats, I am now using this year's stats. Remember, the sample size is tiny. Let's not get too caught up in them, but I think it's time to start going over them. Nats versus lefties so far this year, 286 average with very little power, 733 OPS. The Braves versus righties, 233 with 737 OPS. Nats bullpen has looked awful, as was expected, 5.53 ERA with a 1.70 whip. The Braves bullpen has been disappointing, but it's early, 4.91 ERA, 1.25 whip. Let's take a look at the market, and then we will hand it over to the Big Ragoo. The Braves open up at -210. They're up to as high as -230 on FanDuel. This total opened up at 9, slightly juiced to the over. It is now at 9, and it is juiced to the under. Guessing that weather playing a part in that. I'm going to have to pull up Sports Insights. I don't have it right now, so let's hand it over to the Big Ragoo, and when he's done, I'll tell you where the cash lies. Take it away, Ragoo. Nats, Braves, first game on the board.
Yeah, both of these pitchers got off to a little bit of a rocky start in their first opening. No question about that. Like you went over the numbers there. Notoriously, if you go back and you look at the Braves against righties, they do struggle a little bit. They're not struggling, but they're like in the middle of the pack, and the numbers you just gave out kind of quantifies that a little bit. But they do have Albies, I guess, as a switch hitter starting up top, and then you got Olsen's a lefty, and then you got Riley, Ozuna, and Duvall, which are not bad actually versus lefty. So maybe that dynamic changes a little bit in this particular game here, going up against Gray, who might be a little bit vulnerable. But I haven't seen the lineup come out for the Nats yet. But it's a heavy number. 240 is a big number. I don't like getting into 240s. Like I did try something yesterday. I did get into the -1. I pushed on both of those games with the Astros and the Rays yesterday. So those were pushes. And then I didn't want to lay the bigger numbers. And I did lose the total with the Marlins yesterday on the over. So I went 0-1 officially yesterday. But anyways, in this particular spot though, I think there's going to be runs scored in this particular game. I'm not thrilled about laying 5.5 over team total with the Braves, which I think they're very apt to get there and do it. But I don't want to have to put myself in that particular spot. But I do lean the Braves team total over 5.5. I'm not going to get to the window with that. And I would lean possibly taking a -1 here with the Braves also, kind of like what I did yesterday. So half your bet on the money line and half your bet on the -1.5.
Is that -1 going to be official, or are we just talking?
I'm thinking, what do you average that out for? When I looked at it was -200. So now it's got to be like what, -125, 130 roughly.
Let me pull up the run line calculator. Anybody watching the show that doesn't have it, I'm also going to pop it into the chat right now.
Yeah, do that.
And let's get you in. Also, again, when we are tracking action, I'm going to give the best line available to our guests because they give it out so that people can bet it here during the show, but not for me. I'm not going to ever tweet out the best line available for me. I'm just going to tweet out what I'm betting, which is, that's just the situation, just so everybody knows. We can talk about it a lot. So I'm getting a -208 at Pinnacle and -107 on the run line. So -208 and -107 on the run line would give you a -1 of -149, Ragoo.
Yeah, that's my tip top. My max is like 150. Sometimes I'll lean 160, but my middle of the road, my normal number is like 130, but my top end is like 150. So that's right there at it. So I'm good with that.
All right. TJ can get the Braves team total over 5 at -110 at Bovada. Says I like that better
too. By the way, I'm not getting to the window with those right away. So those are leans right now at this spot.
Okay, cool. I will take that off. Sorry. Thank you. It's helpful. Yeah, let's make those things clear. And Mike M says anytime you can toss in what they share as value spots would be great. Ad I've been following, and they are a decent ad. So sure, absolutely. And there's only one that's like legitimate value spot on today's card, and that is the Minnesota Twins is the only one that's like real.
Where do you get that info for the value spot? How do you come up?
That's from Sports Insights. And again, Sports Insights costs about $1,500 a year. You can go in with a group, although they probably don't.
You got to realize something. 3 years I've been capping on screen with you. This is the first time we ever done MLB together.
It is, yeah, it is. I'm very, very excited about it.
We'll get better as we go. Obviously.
I know we will.
Plus, we got the chat, man. The chat's fire, so
absolutely.
For the chat.
15,043 tickets are in. 22% of the tickets are on Washington, and 70% of the cash is on the Nats. That's wild. Wow. 51% of tickets are on the under, and 84% of cash is on the under. And we've seen it move from a pick 'em or slightly juiced over to a juiced under.
Yeah, I think that's strictly more or less a play against the number versus it's got to be. That's the only thing I can see there. With
I
the
also
Washington
think that early in the year, and what do you think about this idea that early in the year or throughout the year, that these very early starts lead to less offense?
Yeah, well, I was thinking because of the short the short break. I think the pitcher, the hitters have a little bit of advantage, but as we go along, we're going to see those numbers start to get juiced up a little bit, and those totals move up or down depending upon. But I think I would probably say more times than not. I think right in this particular spot, I think the hitters have the advantage going into the not so much like teams like the Brewers. They seem to be struggling, but generally speaking, I think the hitters probably for the first 30 days, for 2 or 3 rotations, they'll have the advantage. Then the aces, there are some aces that are throwing some good stuff right now, but for the most part, generally speaking, probably like 70-80% of the time, I think the hitters are going to be at the advantage.
And Cheshire Cat is an interesting question. He says, what do you think about and Hunter Engelhardt is on that Twins first half money line. Hunter Engelhardt, and I love Kenny Rogers' information that he drops. Kenny, if I don't mention it as much, it's not because I don't love it. It's very interesting and wildly fun. Cheshire Cat is an interesting. He said, what do you think about this Nats team total? It's at 3.5 at -110.
Yeah,
by the way,
it's like 5.5 and 3.5. So I don't know that without looking. I haven't expected lineup, but without looking at the, they're just basing that on maybe Fried. Fried has got touched by the Nats. He hasn't been. I think he's like 4.5 ERA, so that might be some value there to look at too. Who running him up on the bump. They might touch him up a little bit. Like I said, there's no bargain. There's no bargain on the number. The full number, but I'm a little leery. I think the Braves going to score runs. The question mark will the Nats put it over and get to 3.5. But based on past experience, I would say probably yes. I think they might get 4 runs here.
And that is juice to the under. By the way, they're not offering me a Braves 5.5. They're only offering me a 4.5 at -145.
Yeah. See, my guy, he's up over the hump a little bit. So, and that's +110 on mine. It's more 5.5.
Josh Bell hitting .318 against Fried with 2 homers, 5 ribbies. Maikel Franco hitting .318 with 1 homer and 6 ribbies. Juan Soto .286 with 2 solo shots against Fried. And there is no action for me on this game. But Cheshire Cat, I can understand your look there. Again, when we go back to the weather, with the wind heavily blowing in and the early start, and it makes me a little nervous to expect a ton of offense. Also, bad starts from both pitchers. You should see improvement. And CT Base says Nats lineup is posted. Soto and Cruz are in.
Yeah, that's big. Hey, I was looking at the RotoWire site, and it was showing 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. So
yeah, it says 8-mile-per-hour winds now blowing out.
Yeah.
What do we do with this mixed info?
We got to figure it out, man. We always do.
And we do have a confirmed lineup.
While we're doing it.
Confirmed lineup for the Nats: Hernandez, Soto, Cruz, Bell, Franco, Lane Thomas, Escobar, Riley Adams, and Robles turning the lineup over. Okay, let's roll on to the next game. That's 12:20 p.m. Eastern. Nothing official for either of us. We have the Chicago Cubs at Pittsburgh Pirates. Cubs 3-1, 1-0 on the road. Pirates 1-3, lost their home opener yesterday. PNC Park, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have Kyle Hendricks, 5 1/3 in opening day, and it was very impressive. He had a rough spring. Didn't matter. He looked very good in his home opener versus the Brewers. 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 7 Ks. Going up against Zach Thompson. Thompson has made 2 appearances thus far out of the bullpen, and he's looked good there. 2 innings, hasn't allowed a hit, 3 Ks with 1 walk. In Pittsburgh, we have 10.2 mile-per-hour winds across the diamond, and then it moves slightly out towards the left field pole at 13.1 miles per hour at 1 p.m. and then 15.1 miles per hour at 2 p.m. And if the game happens to go longer, it builds up to 16.4 miles per hour at 3 o'clock. CT Base, first 5 under 4.5 in Pittsburgh. And Dommy Gun says Faves went 12-2 yesterday. The only dogs that won were the Rockies and the Mets. Arthur Mead also on the under in Pittsburgh Chicago. Let's see what we're dealing with from an odds. Oh, that's Pinnacle. Sorry, odds perspective here. Sorry, it's taking me a second. Here we go. We have the Cubs opening up at minus 135. That's down to minus 125. This total at 8.5 is now at 9. We have 15,497 tickets in. 27% of the tickets are on the Pirates. 27% of tickets are on the Pirates on the money line, and 63% of the cash. 24% of the tickets are on the over, and 58% of the cash is on that over. And we've seen our first 8.5s on the board at Bet365 and Caesars. The rest of the books are still hanging 9s. The Cubs have been hitting righties to start the year. 247, 746 OPS. The same can't be said about the Pirates. Only hitting 232 with a 580 OPS versus righties. And that's something that we expect of them this year, to meekly hit right-handed pitching. Cubs bullpen so far, 4.60 ERA, 1.02 whip. And Pirates bullpen hasn't been bad. 4.58 ERA, 1.13 whip. Take it away here. The Big Ragoo, Cubs, Pirates.
Yeah, normally, if you look at Hendricks' last start against Milwaukee, now we know Milwaukee's been struggling with the bats a little bit early on. I'm sure they'll straighten them out, I'm sure, sooner than later. But so how do we look into that performance by Hendricks? Do we just say, hey, he kind of overpowered the Milwaukee Brewers and made them look bad, or is it just kind of like an average, like a decent outing? He got a no decision in that spot, and at the same time, we got Thompson making his first stop, so there's some unknowns there, and then with both teams maybe struggling against righties a little bit, just kind of average, and that number ticking down, I would have to take a hard lean on the first 5 under here. I mean, we don't know what kind of weight we can put on the first start for the Pittsburgh pitcher here, but I think that if the bats come alive a little bit for the Cubbies, they get a little run support here, which I don't think they gave them last time out. I kind of lean to the under here on the first 5.
I get it. TJ says Thompson won't go more than 4. After that, it's downhill. Also, so because we don't have baseball database, it's going to take me a little longer to figure out some of these matchup stats and handle them appropriately.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
if you go to MLB, you can get some info at MLB.com.
Yeah.
You can get the pitching matchups there with the the history, but.
That's what I'm using right now,
Yeah.
and both Colin Moran and Kevin Newman have a rich history against Hendricks, and same with Brian Hayes, even 333, 9 in 9 at bats. Colin Moran 27 at bats, Kevin Newman 24 at bats. I realize now that I screwed up with the Washington Atlanta matchup, and that's
both teams
fault.
are hitting like right about 240 against right-handed hitting. Historically. And that kind of lines up with what the lineups are showing too. So, we're probably looking at it. I would definitely say under here, first 5 under possibly, unless I don't see Hendricks getting touched up early on. And if they think Zach's going to last 4 innings, then maybe lean towards a Cubs first half, because I thought that number looked low based on Hendricks' last start against Milwaukee. But then again, we know Milwaukee's been struggling, but I think there's a little bit of value there built into Hendricks.
Yeah, I'm the splits for Hendricks were wild last year. He couldn't pitch on the road for whatever reason, and I'm hesitant after such a
putting their stock in.
I'm just hesitant to trust him after that impressive opening day performance. But I get the first 5 under look. I get it, and then expecting maybe the bullpens, who've been better than expected early, to maybe struggle late. Again, it's not something that I want to support here.
Yeah, I'm off of it, totally. That's just, like I say, if I lean one way, it's probably Cubs first half, minus the or just on the money line, and then under the first half, the first 5.
And absolutely right, CT Bay's my bad giving you Colin Moran stats as he's on the Reds now. So all right, we go. That's Cubs Pirates at 12:35. So no action from Ragoo or I early. And do we think that this Cleveland Guardians Cincinnati Reds game will go? That's the question. Do we think TJ, I have it opening up at 9. So I don't, and maybe I should bring up even another site that will track action. Big Ragoo, do you expect this game to go in Cincy?
They say that's a go or no go.
At this point, it hasn't been called off.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's going to be a go. Let's see if we can get any information on the total here at Pinnacle. This total, you're right. This total opened at 8.5 at Pinnacle, not 9. So it's gone up to 9. And we've seen the action. We're talking Cubs Pirates still. Okay, so interesting. So we had one site that would give us all the info. Eric Jones on Pittsburgh plus 1.5 minus 135 last night. It's juiced now. And Hunter Engelhardt says Lodolo is going to be a great player, but a favorite on his debut. Come on, not the way Cleveland is hitting lefties. They're hitting lefties with a high average, but still they're not hitting it with a ton of power. Let's move on to this spot as if the game is going to go. And we'll discuss it more as we go. 12:35 p.m. Eastern, the Cleveland Guardians 3-2. All 5 games have been played on the road at the Cincinnati Reds 2-3, 0-1 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. RotoWire has this in red as if the game may or may not go. We have the opening line at Pinnacle at 9.5. It's down to 9, and it's even dropped to 8.5 at Bet365. I did move on the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 105 in this spot. And it's still there. It's still there at exactly that price. First 5 under 4.5 at minus 105. If it goes, Cleveland team total over says can't trust McKenzie. CT Bay says Guardians at plus money while they're hot on offense. There's Dennis Trusty in the house. We have Tristan McKenzie, who's only made a relief appearance so far this year. He went 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 1 K, 2 walks, and a 3-1 loss at the Royals. Going up against Nick Lodolo, who's making his major league debut here. 6'6", 205-pound, 24-year-old is expected to make at least 2 turns through the lineup. They're still waiting on Castillo and Mike Minor to return from the injured list. Between AA Chattanooga and AAA Louisville, he was unbelievable. A 38.8% strikeout rate, ground balls at a 54% clip, 2-2, 2.38 ERA, 0.97 whip, 78 Ks and 11 walks in 50 2/3. The Guardians are hitting lefties, 278, 736. As I said, Reds aren't hitting righties at all to start the year, 165, 486 OPS. Guardians bullpen has been very good, and so is the Reds. Guardians bullpen so far this year, 3.60 ERA, 1.10 whip, while the Reds bullpen 4.03 ERA, 1.16 whip. Dennis Garcia is on the under 8.5 at plus 110. Eric Jones is on Cleveland plus 110 and the under 9.5. Don Max says McKenzie didn't have it all last game, but who knows what it'll look like today. Could go 5 hitless with 12 Ks, and then he's laughing because he is a difficult pitcher to figure out. Sharpie says Lodolo made the starting rotation before he got hurt. They have him starting today because they have 2 off days and didn't need a 5th starter until today. So Sharpie saying that he will be a part of this rotation and that it's not on the Castillo and Mike Minor injuries, which Sharpie would, if Sharpie knows, then Sharpie knows. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this game. We have, it looks like, okay, here we go. So they have value on Cincinnati here, says Sports Insights. 11,184 tickets in, 34% of the tickets and 60% of the cash on the Cincinnati Reds, 39% of tickets and 79% of cash on the under. And we see the market moving towards the under. Take it away here, Ragoo, as if the game will be on Guardians Reds.
Yeah, my first look was, I noticed that little tick down on the total, at the minus 120. So that kind of caught my eye from the get-go. Then I was trying to figure out the rotation, with the injuries. Like I said, there are some teams right now that are bringing up some guys that, we're going to possibly be in the rotation. Now they're kind of making a home up there. So I guess Lodolo is one of these kids that's going to make his first impression on us today. We'll see what we get. So that's something I have a hard time backing. When I get at somebody that's coming up for the first time, mid-season more so, maybe not so much early season, but definitely if it was a mid-season spot, I would be totally against it. But, the only way I can look at this spot here is with the total. I'm not sure what I'm going to get. I know Cleveland has been doing decent, up against the lefties. But I think maybe Dennis is right on this spot here for a full game total with the stronger bullpens we've seen early on with the Reds and the Guardians. I want to call them the Indians, the Guardians. But yeah, that would be my look. Would be the full game under 9.5 at the -120. Just because I know if they get 4 or 5 innings out of Lodolo, then they should be good to kind of hold them down, I think. But I'm thinking we'll probably see maybe a first half under and a full game under. But I would get on the I'm liking the full game under here with the weather, and then also with what I see in the bullpen. So give me the 9.5 -120.
9.5 under 9.5 and -120. And Jose does not think this game will go off. So let's not spend too much time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Too much time on it. Do we have any info from any Twitter beat writers or anything, Jose? No, just okay. So we're not sure, but Jose thinks this is unlikely. Let's get you the 9.5 at -120 here. Pull this up here and see if I can beat that number. 9.5. I got -130 here at Pinnacle, but you have a -120 available?
Yeah, my book had it at 120, but you give me the 130 at Pinnacle has. That's fine.
No. If you have a book that is giving it to you, then that's fine. I will pull Circa up and see if maybe Circa can do it. But no, if that is available for you, that's fine. So Ragoo is on the board. He's on the under 9.5 at -120 in Guardians, Reds, and I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 at -105 available at Bet365 and available right now. And Dommy Gunn says, I'm looking at the Weather Channel right now, and it doesn't look promising. Okay, so let's move past it. Arthur Meade Jr., it was very, very special to be honored in that way, and I will remember it forever. Dommy really, it really touched me with that video that you guys all put together. Let's move on to 1:05 p.m. Eastern. New York Mets 4-2. All 6 games have played on the road against Philadelphia Phillies 3-2. All 5 games have been played at home. Red Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I really want to have a site that I can fully trust and with weather, and I'm getting nervous looking at how different Swish Analytics weather report is to RotoWire, and it just makes me so nervous. It's all about numbers capping this sport, and you have to be able to trust them. This game pops off 80 Fahrenheit first pitch and 9 miles out to right center, goes up to 11.1 at 2 p.m. and finishes at 10.1, and it slightly moves towards right field, but it is blowing out. It is blowing out with these 2 studs on the mound. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with here. On the legal books, this total opened up at 9.5 and has dropped to 8.5. And I get it with the pitchers on the mound, but have the pitchers really done anything? I mean, other than their career statistics, but this very short season to show us that they're ready to shut down these 2 very capable offenses. It's gone down a full run to 8.5. The Phillies open up at -125. They're down to -108 or -110, down to a pick'em. We have Sharpie with alternate K-prop parlay. 2-0 on alternate K-prop so far for Sharpie this year. He's got Nola 6 or more Ks at -251 and Paddock 3 or more at -251, giving him a -105. Viper's already on the Mets first 5, and Eric Jones is on the under 8.5. Just Jordan is also on the Mets money line. Teflon Don says Mets paid yesterday. Hunter Engelhardt says, as a Phillies fan, I can't back them in this spot. The amount of out of his own pitches they struck out on yesterday was incredible. Max is going to donkey punch them. So let's go over to the cash flow here in this spot. 16,253 tickets in. Slight value here, says Sports Insights, on the Mets. 73% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on the Mets, 75% of the tickets, 55% of cash on the under. Scherzer, 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 7-3 win at the Nats. Nola went 6 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 0 walks, 7 Ks, and a 9-5 win at home versus the A's. The Mets have been hitting righties, and the Phillies have not so far this year. Mets 263, 765 OPS, while the Phillies 213, 632 OPS, and both bullpens have looked quite good. Mets bullpen 2.86 ERA, 1.23 whip. Phillies bullpen 3.05 ERA, 1.02 whip. This game pops off in 59 minutes. Mets, Phillies, take it away, Ragoo.
Yeah, this is probably the best pitching matchup of the day without question. But we get two teams that are playing. The Mets staff is like lights out right now. Phillies hitting the ball pretty well. I know Scherzer had a pretty good outing last time. I think he's 3-0 against Philadelphia last season. Not definitely shutdown mode, but pretty damn good anyways. So this is strictly a value play for me on this one. You're getting plus money on the $50 million man. Come on, it's a no-brainer here, guys. Both that's why I'm going first five, because I don't trust the Mets bullpen like I had them the other night. Not an official play, but I gave a play out in the chat where I had the Mets on the plus number at 130. And I went to bed. I said, okay, we got this one. I woke up and they gave like 5 runs in the 8th inning, and it was game over. But this is different. This is a different look totally here. You got Scherzer getting plus money in the first 5, and I think he'll have a dominating performance here. Even though they do hit pretty well, Philadelphia, there's going to be a lot of battles for both of these teams throughout the season. This is going to be an early one, obviously. So for my money, just on a value play, I got to take Scherzer plus the money in the first 5.
Scherzer plus money, first 5. Let's take a look at the hitters against Scherzer. Only Gene Segura can get to him. 368 average in 19 at-bats. Real Muto, 108 average. Rhys Hoskins, 043 in 23 at-bats.
The only thing, the Mets do struggle on the road, though. Last year, they won like 30 games. So if they're gonna compete, like I said, it's gonna be a tough year. Phillies are a contender. The Braves are gonna be the Braves. So those 3 teams, you're gonna see a lot of battles, and you're gonna have the Marlins sneak a few games in there too from these guys too. But I think this is probably gonna be your top hill matchup. Basically from here on the rest of the season out, you're gonna be looking at the Phillies and the Mets long term. The Braves will be there too, but I think they'll regress a little bit.
And let's just see what this opened here. So Pinnacle, by the way, there's been wild market movement on the total at Pinnacle. Wild. Opened up at 8 quickly, opened up 8.5, quickly went to 8, went to 8.5, back to 8, 8.5, up to 9.
Wow. And
it's now just moved back to 8.5 4 minutes ago. That's Pinnacle's line movement.
I don't want to stick around full game with these guys. I want to cash out early with Scherzer.
And then first 5s, they're not giving it to me. Can't get that information, sadly. Okay. CT Base saying Pete Alonso and Nemo both over 300 versus Nola.
And Nola's had a checkered past with the Mets too, so he can be touched up.
I can understand moving on the Mets first 5.
Dommy Gunn will be happy with that pick.
Let's see what you are being offered here. First 5. I got a minus 101 at Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Can anybody?
I thought it would be shaded down, maybe to a small number like 105, but I got plus 105 earlier with my guy. But whatever we get, I'm on it.
All right. Well, let's see if I can beat that very quickly here. I wonder if I can. First 5. No, I can't. That's the best I can find right now. Minus 101 for Ragoo. Ragoo's on the Mets. First 5, minus 101. All right. I have some interest in that, and but I have to make the move during the show, and I'm not sure if I will do that. Next up, 1:10 p.m., Jose Bouquet's Boston Red Sox, 2-3 to start the season, all 5 games on the road. At Detroit Tigers, 2-3, all 5 games at home. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. We have, pull up the weather here, 72 Fahrenheit at first pitch, and it is blowing in heavy. 16.9 miles per hour, 18.2 up to 19.6. Let's just do a quick comparison to what the weather is at RotoWire and see if they have 17 miles per hour right to left. 17 miles per hour right to left. And yes, it's right to left, but it's coming in, says Swish Analytics. Okay, so Nate Eovaldi going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. Let's take a look at, why don't we see just what Pinnacle has done here. I think this is working a little better than the Action Network. So let's move over to this Boston Detroit spot and see what Pinnacle has done with it. Pinnacle opened this total at 8. It's now at 7.5. They opened Boston at minus 121, and Boston is now up to minus 135. Eovaldi in his first start went 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 walk, 7 Ks, and a 6-5 extra inning loss at the Yankees. Eduardo Rodriguez, 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 2 Ks, 2 walks, and a 5-4 win at home versus the White Sox. The Tigers are not hitting righties at all to start the season. 176, 586 OPS, but they're doing better than the Red Sox versus lefties. 182, 469 OPS. The big question is Rodriguez going up against his old team, and how does that skew your expectations for him? This Red Sox bullpen's looked lights out to start the year. 1.27 ERA, 0.94 WHIP, while the Tigers bullpen at 3.92 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. There is Franco White in the house. Great to see you. Nasty Nate says Jose's Red Sox. They're his Red Sox. We do have the taint play of the day in, and we will discuss it. But let's just go quickly to the cash and then hand this over to the Big Ragoo. We have very slight line value on the Tigers. 24% of the tickets on them, 57% of the cash, and then 31% of the tickets, 71% of cash on the under, and we've seen it move from 8 to 7.5. Take it away here, the Big Ragoo, Red Sox Tigers.
Yeah, always been a fan of Eovaldi, when he was back in Tampa, and of course he used to destroy the Yanks a lot for me too, but it's a quality pitcher, and like you said, Rodriguez coming up against his old squad here, but outside of what Detroit has in the top of the lineup, Meadows was a great pickup from Tampa. I was sad to see him go, but he's going to help that lineup up. But they need all the help they can get. Outside the top 3, there's really not a whole lot going on. And with Boston struggling here, this could be a get right spot. To kind of get them somewhat kind of increase the averages, so to speak, against the left-handed pitcher scenario. I mean, Rodriguez can be hit. I think Boston's got the sticks to do it. They catch fire. They can put up a lot of crooked numbers here. So I kind of like them here. I like the fact that they got Bradley back, even though he's hitting down in the lineup. There's some good hitters down in the bottom part of that lineup too that have kind of been underperforming a little bit. So I kind of lean Boston here. I like the spot for them. I think with Detroit struggles, throughout the lineup, I think it's just spotty for Boston to kind of get things going for themselves at home here. So, on the road, I think they can get it going here. So I lean Boston full game and first 5.
The angle of Rodriguez going up against his old team is something that I don't know how to utilize. And that's why I'm stuck. That's why I just hit a stop sign on this game because I just don't quite know how to handle it. Teflon Don says
I know someone that can handle it.
All right. Okay. What are your expectations of Eduardo Rodriguez going up against his old foe or his old friends?
Eduardo Rodriguez talked some shit on the way out, and he said specifically that he needed a Gold Glove shortstop to play behind him. Implying that Xander Bogaerts kind of sucks at defense, and that's kind of the whole scuttlebutt behind Xander. They talk some shit on the way out. The Red Sox roll here. I've made them official plays already for hey, team total in the first 5 and money line. I just think the Red Sox come out motivated to smack around their old foe or their old friend, like you said. And Alex Cora knows Eduardo Rodriguez extremely well. Red Sox roll.
And are you making these official picks here for your Say Hey record?
Sure, why not? Yeah, I tweet out all the plays, whatnot. We're already up 15 plus units on the year. Not a big deal, whatever. So
Jesus, that's
not a
incredible.
big deal.
Yeah. What do you want to lock in here? First 5 team total over, first 5. What do you want to lock in?
I locked in already. First 5 team total over 2.5. I believe I got that. Let me tell you. Plus 130 first 5, and then the money line at minus 122. It's gone up a little bit as the show goes on, but yeah, no, the Red Sox are going to win today essentially. And Trevor Story comes back.
That's plus 130 minus a half a run.
That's plus 130 for their team total first 5 over total. 2.5. Yeah, I think they get on them early and often, and Trevor Story back in the lineup after having flu-like symptoms.
Jimmy, what's the first 5 minus a half?
Let's grab it right now for you after.
And just a heads up as well. This year, as Jimmy has taught me, I've kept my record keeping pretty meticulously. I'm 1-2 on betting the Red Sox year, and 1-4 betting team totals this year. But we're still up double-digit units, so I still like both.
Very, very, very impressive start. The first 5 right now, let's see, minus a half is plus 112 at Pinnacle.
All right, make that official for me. Minus a half, Boston.
All right, we are
I'm all
locked
about the plus.
here. Ragoo is on
Trust your captain.
Red Sox first 5, minus 0.5 at plus 112 for Ragoo. Wine Time is on the Tigers money line. Wine Time's on the Tigers money line, and minus a half is plus 115 at BetOnline. Thank you, Billy. That's great. That's very helpful. Thank you, Billy. Okay, let's roll on. Let's roll on to 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 1-2 so far this year. All 3 games played on the road. At the Twinkies 2-2 at home. All 4 games played at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the city's buzzing after their win over the Clips last night. We have the wind blowing out. Now it's very cold, and there's light rain last night, but it's very cold here today. 13.2 miles per hour out, goes up to 14.1, but it's 39 Fahrenheit at first pitch. 39 Fahrenheit at first pitch. Let's stick with these Pinnacle openers at this point. I see them updating, so I can trust them at this point. So why don't we use them? This total opened up at 9 and has dropped to 8.5. It was 9, was juiced to the under at minus 115. Now the over 8.5 is juiced to that minus 115. From a money line perspective, the Dodgers opened up minus 155. Now they're minus 170, which means the Twinkies are plus 156. And we have at this point the most the value from Sports Insights, the most line value from Sports Insights is on these Twinkies. And by far the most value of any that they deem the most valuable team on the board right now. Only 17% of the tickets are on the Twins. There's 14,130 and 15% of the cash. Then you have 31% of tickets and 70% of cash on the under. So Kershaw going up against Paddock. Kershaw 10-8, 3.55 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 121 in the third, 144 Ks, 21 walks. Paddock 7-7, 5.07 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 108 in the third, 99 Ks, 22 walks. Dodgers versus righties so far this year, just 243, 624 OPS, while Twins have been smashing lefties out the gate, 254, 829 OPS. Dodgers bullpen 3.20 ERA, 0.86 WHIP has been very good as expected, and the Twins bullpen has been good, 3.22 ERA, but a high WHIP at 1.61. Take it away here, Big Ragoo. Dodgers, Twinkies.
And so we know that Paddock knows the Dodgers, right, from his days back on the West Coast. But I can see the value there, just based on that angle, slightly. Kershaw is a pitcher that I used to like to fade a lot because we used to get a lot of big plus numbers against him. I mean, that's I think that value is built into that number right now. So I'm not going to say it's a great number, great value, even though Insight said it might be. I don't think it's. I think it's built into the price already with that 173. You said it's down to 163 now. Is that what you said?
The money keeps coming in on the Dodgers, and the line keeps moving up. So it's up to minus.
So it's going the other way. All right. So I mean that would make sense to me then. But historically, looking at the matchups here, you got Austin. He's got 3 at bats, 0 for 3. You got Beatty is hitting 600 in the short sample size. Mookie Betts, perfect. Gavin, Lou, perfect. So and then Billy McKinney, 600. Pollock 400. Let's see, is he starting today? No, Pollock. Okay, but anyway, I'm thinking here. I mean, I would have to, if I was getting my money to the window, which I'm not going to on this game, but it would have to be Dodgers or Pats here. Even though Insight says, my brain tells me that that just because the familiarity with these guys versus Paddock, I think, and he's very hittable to them. I would just say the value. Me personally, I think the value is on the Dodgers. because they got all the sticks up and down the lineup. They got the familiarity with Paddock, and then it works the other way for him too. But I just think that the sticks are stronger than the pitching early on here, so I would say the value leans with the Dodgers. But I won't get there because of the fact that it is over my number, and I'm probably not going to lay a minus first half, minus a half a run in this particular spot because it's too early in the season for me for this particular matchup. So I would say pass, but lean Dodgers.
Nobody on the Twins has seen Kershaw. No one. So
right, that's true. Right, nobody's seen Kershaw. I think Josh Donaldson has been 4 bats with a ribby. That's about it.
Yeah, and he's over on the Yanks. So
he's on the Yankees now.
But the Paddock has been seen and touched. Betts 3 for 3. Yeah. Gavin Lux 2 for 2. Right. Muncy 3 for 12 with a homer. Pollock 2 for 5. Trey Turner 3 for 6. Now the Twinkies are smashing lefties, and who knows? Who knows what we're going to get from Kershaw first start of the year? So
right.
Interesting. Okay, now, interesting. Let's see what Nutflush was saying. Sorry, is Nutflush Allen says, with that thought, the over is sounding appealing. The over sounds very appealing to me. The problem is it's 39 Fahrenheit at first pitch. And are the Dodgers used to playing in 39 Fahrenheit weather outside? I mean, they're not. So that's the big question here. Is
probably a lot of humidity, a lot of dampness. That ball is probably gonna not travel as far, obviously, with that cool weather. So degrees, we'd say definitely 39, 93. Yeah, 39. No.
Yeah. Jay Vegas talking about Matt Brash yesterday. Kingston native did us very proud. There's Trotwam in the house. Okay, so Royals Cardinals postponed. We move on to my next bet that I have placed, and that is the under 4.5 in Astros Diamondbacks. I got under 4.5 at minus 120. The roof is open. Let's see what happened with this total. Well, money line wise, Astros opened up at minus 147. They're now minus 157. This is at Pinnacle. Total opened up at 9, is now at 8.5. And this site is not allowing me to get the information on the first 5s, which makes me extremely angry, but is the case. You guys know that I want to back Merrill Kelly. I want to back him. I want to back him in almost all situations at home, except when the Diamondbacks are facing a lefty. They've already started the season asleep at the wheel against lefties, 111, 269 OPS, and I cannot trust them to get in. There's Pimp Slap play of the days on the first 5 under 4.5. I like seeing that. Real Deal Prime says Valdez, Houston, fade Arizona. And look, I don't know how long Merrill Kelly's going to go. The Reaver says, don't back Kelly. Well, he didn't allow a run in his first start against the Padres, and I want to back. They're my guy, the Reaver. I got to hang out with him in San Antonio. Great guy. I want to back Merrill Kelly at home at plus prices, and I will do it. I made money off it last year, and I'm going to go right back to the well. Astros 3-1. All 4 games have been played on the road so far against the Diamondbacks. 1-3 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Framber Valdez looked very good in his first start. 6 2/3, 2 hits, no earned run, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-1 win at the Angels. Merrill Kelly 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks, and a 3-0 loss at the Padres. The Astros are hitting righties to start off the year. No surprise there. 257.99 OPS. Astros bullpen looking very good as well. 1.86 ERA, 1.19 WHIP. D-backs. 3.33 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, and Moose Money says Kelly's velocity was up a couple ticks. Look, he had a very bad start to the year last year, and then he came on, and he's a pitcher I believe in. I believe in him, and I think we're going to get nice prices backing him, but you cannot back the Diamondbacks first left-handed pitching, or you're just asking for a disaster. When we go to the weather here, we have 71 Fahrenheit at first pitch. I mean, when has it ever been this cold in Arizona? The wind is 5.5 miles per hour across the diamond, very slightly in, gets up to 7.3 and 7.7, very slightly in. Sharpie says Kelly fastball up 3 miles per hour in velocity this year. His Ks were up last week, this spring compared to last year. Yeah, I love hearing those stats. I like I like them. And I like good pitchers on weak teams when we're going to get plus money first fives all year long. It's an appealing spot here on the board. We have 12,332 tickets in. 84% of the tickets on Houston, 81% of the cash, then 67% of the tickets on the under, and 78% of cash on the under. And although the Diamondbacks bullpen has looked okay to start the year, I don't know if I trust them that much. And the spreadsheet play of the day is on Houston -1. Sorry, I did have that listed up top, but spreadsheet play of the day, Houston -1. Take it away here, Ragoo, Astros, Diamondbacks.
I love this play today. I'm with you on Kelly. You know, there's a lot of unfamiliarity both ways with these guys. They both can fan some batters. You know, they're both going to throw strikes. You know, throw strikes for some backward Ks here. I like both sides. You know, both pitchers, but not in this spot. I'm with you on the with the Diamondbacks versus the lefties for sure. And Houston is a team that keeps on giving, man. I mean, their top three pitchers. I mean, I love them. I think they're going to do a lot of damage, you know, early on and late into the season if they stay healthy. I like Famber here. It's not my play of the day, but I do have a play on them. It matched up perfectly with the spreadsheet play. I like the -1 here. Definitely, that's a play I'm on in this particular spot. I think you'll see a lower score game. I know it was juiced to the over a little bit, but I think early on you'll see low scores depending on what happens with Arizona's bullpen later on. So my play definitely all the way across the board is Houston on the -1.
That is correlating right with the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today. Yep. You know, if there's any hope of if for any reason the Diamondbacks can be up early, as soon as Merrill Kelly gets out, it'd be a great bet to immediately live bet the Astros. Don Max says Merrill Kelly's a soft tosser who really needs to stay the spots to succeed. Always makes me nervous trusting that against a lineup like Houston. Teflon Don says -1 gets that value. TJ liking that first five under. Mark Schillingberg liking the no-run first inning. And Real Deal Prime looking at Altuve for a breakout game. So let's bring up the opportunity here and see what we're getting. Oh, shit, that's the wrong site. Let me get the bet up for the Big Ragoo. Here we go. And move over to MLB, and let's see what we can get them for the -1 line right now. And again, we build our own -1 lines here. We're almost always going to beat what if a -1 line is offered. So, that's the first half. So we have Astros at -157 and run line at -103, -157 and -103. Let's just quickly put that into the calculator, -157 and -103. And that gives you the Astros -1 at -130. And I completely get the look there. Astros -1 at -130 for the Big Ragoo. And I'm on the first five under 4.5 at -120. I would like to see if that has changed at all at my book. And please tell me it has to make me feel a little better about myself. And it has not. It's still available right at that price at -120. Okay, let's keep rolling. Right now, keep rolling. That is the Astros Diamondbacks. So first off, we have been already locked down with the spreadsheet play today from our Ron Crawford. Let's give Ron Crawford a big shout out. And thank you for sharing your hard work with us. We love capping with you, Ron. Big shout out to Big Ron Crawford. And we come to the taint play today, and the taint has started out hot, and the taint play of the day is the San Diego Padres at +110, and taint is running nice early on. And Nats up 2-0. Oh, man. Cheshire Cat talking about that team total over 3.5. I wish I had have gotten to it quicker. Great call, Cheshire Cat. I hope you moved on it. And A very promising opportunity right now as the game is popped off. All right, so I did move on the first 5 under 3.5 at minus 105 in Padres Giants. Padres 4-1, all 5 games on the road. Giants 2-2. I don't know if that includes. That probably doesn't include last night. It must not, because I imagine that the Padres are 4-2 and the Giants are 3-2 at this point. I think that's wrong. I think I put that in before the game was over. Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Let's quickly move over to the weather, and it's blowing out. First pitch at 50 Fahrenheit, blowing out 9.4 miles per hour. We know how it swirls at Oracle, so I don't take too much. And Cheshire Cat says, "Thank you, sir. Big Ragoo convinced me." Let's get that cash, man. So Manaea going up to Logan Webb, and Logan Webb just keeps delivering at home. I'd be very interested to hear what Nutflush Allen says about this spot, but Logan Webb just keeps delivering at home, and Sean Manaea coming off that very, very strong first start. Went 7 innings, no hits, no runs, 7 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-0 win. Logan Webb, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-5 extra inning winning at home over the Marlins, but he looked very good. Padres are not hitting too hard to start the year, 259, 673 OPS against righties, while the Giants aren't hitting lefties at all, 205, 553 OPS, and that was something that Nutflush Allen told us was going to happen this year. He said that these Giants are not going to hit lefties. Padres bullpen 5.40 ERA, 1.59 WHIP to start the year, and the Giants bullpen very good, even though Mellanson's long gone. 2.86 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. We have 10,163 tickets in, and it's a coin flip. 52% of tickets on the Giants, 50% of cash on the Giants, but 31% of tickets on the under, and 58% of cash on the under. And it's time to roll. Real Deal Prime says, fade San Francisco versus left-handed pitching. Mr. Gogster leaning no run first inning, and I'm on the under 3.5 at minus 105. Billy Friedrich says, wind blowing out again in this one. I really feel like that if it's blowing out at 15 miles per hour in San Francisco, that could help us a lot, because it's not like it's blowing out in other parks. It swirls, and it's just not the same, and it's a pitcher's ballpark, and it doesn't concern me at all that the wind blows out in this park. Take it away, Ragoo. Padres Giants.
Hey, any California park is a pitcher's park, so don't sweat the small stuff when it comes to the wind, unless it's a hurricane or a tsunami going on out in California. But anyways, yeah, both of these pitchers are magic in my book. And it's exciting for San Diego skipper to get Manaea come back and throw. And he shut him down. He had that perfect game going the other night. It was a piece, it was great work by him. I know he probably in his heart, he probably wanted to go the full distance, but, that was just a manager looking out for him long term. I think we'll see more of that tonight in this spot here, later this afternoon. This game, first thing I looked at this game, I was like, man, I hope it's like a 7.5 or 8, to kind of get on the under. But I said, you know what? Let me jump in on this with both feet. Give me the under in the first 5 here. I know it's probably going to be juiced that way, but I think we'll see magic out of both these pitchers early on. I think we'll see 2-3 runs tops in the first 5 innings. So I'm definitely going to be involved with this. And I think we see a little value here, even though Webb has been magic in Candlestick. I still call it Candlestick over at San Francisco Park there, Levi Park. I think we get the job done with Manaea here too. I think he comes out victorious, and I'm going to take some value on a short plus price here with Manaea to get the win. Full game.
Well, let's lock you in, Ragoo. First off, the first 5 under 3.5 is still at the price that I got it at Pinnacle. It's at minus 105. That full game has gone to 7. Did you want to double up on the first 5 in full game, or just first 5?
No, just give me the first 5 on that.
Yeah, 7 is a little low. And Nutflush Allen says a couple things. He says, do not be fooled by last night. Darvish looked extremely bad, and it was a fraud hitting show. See what you can get, no score in the first. I think a low bag lineup could have hit Darvish. CT Bay says Giants like to win Webb's home starts and Sharpie. And it's so important when our friends and colleagues believe something different than us. We want to break down from all angles. And it's very important to notice when somebody's like, well, I think differently, because then it gives us a chance to look at it again. And Sharpie says, I think Giants will hit left-handed pitching better than right-handed pitching this year. Jay Peasy says no run first inning looks good. Jojo Rich says Giants sticks are hot. I'm gun shy, but want to fire on no runs in the first inning. Sharpie says Padres bullpen is starting to be taxed. Had to come in early 2 games so far. Too much being put on Manaea, no hitting an Arizona team. And Lucas Ryan with a wonderfully kind comment saying, just want to say huge love to Ragoo and Jimmy. You guys do so much for the community campus. Worldwide sports would not be. I almost don't want to finish the statement. It's so unbelievably kind. And I think you might be giving us too much credit. But thank you so much for the really kind words, Lucas Ryan. I love hearing that, my friend. And this is our life. This is how we enjoy life, is by capping together. This brings us all of our funnest opportunities in life. So we have it under 3.5. Now let's get Ragoo the price on Mania full game here. Mania full game, and that is giving you the Padres at plus 107. Let me know if anybody can beat the plus 107 for our record-keeping purposes, but plus 107 for the Padres, the Friars for Big Ragoo. Plus 107. Moose Money says Mania pitch count in that game was only 84, so in that game, so not a crazy workload. No, I hear, but it's important to know when we think that bullpens are getting taxed early, and very, very important notes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Padres plus 109 at BetDSI. Thank you very much. And TJ says you can take the Padres and the under 8.5 at plus 240. Eric Jones says, I want to take the over 7 here. One team will bust out, I think, says Eric Jones. Okay, so then let's just take a look at no run first inning, as that was what was asked.
Yeah, that's a fire play right there.
That's at minus 133 at Pinnacle. So if it's at minus 133 at Pinnacle, I bet you my book's trying to just take us right in the prison pocket. So I'm guessing minus 150. My book will be offering it. Let's see here. First inning, minus 145. Just a little too juiced for me, but it's almost like doubling up on the bet. So I'm just going to stick with my bet, under 3.5 at minus 105. So I have 3 unders so far today, and that's all my action at this point. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be adding anything else. But let's move into the evening games. And all these 4 games are going to be hammered very hard on both Prize Picks at 3:10 p.m. Eastern, starring Sharpie, and at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, starring Jose Bouquet. And Sharpie says, I'm close to San Francisco first 5, just digging in. And no run first inning, yeah, minus 133 at Pinnacle. All right. And Mike M says Twatter will ruin the San Francisco no run first inning, just like last night. Okay, very, very fun. Let's move on to 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 2-3. All 5 games have been played on the road. At Tampa Bay Rays 4-1. All 5 games have been played at home. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Those of you know how badly I want to be in on Toronto Blue Jays futures, and I think this is all going to set up really nice for me. The first 32 games or so for the Jays are mostly against the Astros, Red Sox, and Yankees. And if they could be like 18-15 and the Rays can get out to a big lead, heavenly. It will be perfect because they're going to go on a monster run after that, a monster run. So I don't want to say that I'm cheering for the Jays to lose, but I'm cheering for the Jays to lose. Frankie Montas going up against Shane McClanahan. Montas 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 9-5 loss at the Phillies to start off his season. And McClanahan on the other side looked pretty good. 4 1/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks, and a 2-1 win at home over Baltimore. A's have been hitting lefties very hard to start the year. 270 with a 740 OPS, while the Rays against righties are hitting 286 with an 866 OPS. A's bullpen has been okay. 4.09 ERA, 1.45 whip. And Rays bullpen 4.40 ERA, 1.24 whip. Spenny Penny Bombs is in. He's on Twins first 5 money line plus 145. Teo Hernandez over 1.5 total bases and a homer at plus 375. Total bases at plus 150. Homer at plus 375. George Springer over 1.5 bases, 1 plus 125. And Haniger over 1.5 bases. There we go. I'm going to copy and paste both of those stats here, both of the action here by Spenny and Domi. Let's move over to the market movement. And I would sure like to trust our old site because I do feel like it's giving me a little better information than action. Let's go over to it right now here for this Oakland-Tampa game. It opened under 7.5 at minus 112. It's moved 3 cents in that direction to minus 115. But it did go down to minus 108. So late money is coming in again on the under. We go to the money line here. The Rays opened up at minus 173. They're now minus 179. So not a lot of market moves there. We go over to the cash flow in this spot. We have 8,334 tickets in. 63% of the tickets are on the Rays. 73% of cash is on the Rays. 28% of tickets are on the under, and 67% of cash is on the under. Big bets coming in on the under. Here we go. Tropicana Field. Ragoo, take it away. A's Rays.
Yeah, well, I heard rumors that Montas might have been out because they were talking about dealing him to the White Sox with Giolito possibly going, but I guess he's still going. So that's a good sign for Oakland. Now, hey, Montas has had some success against the Rays, short success, but anyway, success as it may be. And then flip that with McClanahan. His action has been spotty versus some of the Oakland A guys. But anyways, I think it's a good spot for McClanahan here. Don't forget now the Rays, they're dinged up. They lost another starter yesterday. So I'm going to start worrying about the Rays bullpen early in the season. So I'm going to be getting involved with some first fives. But I think McClanahan, he'll have a little success here at home. I know the number's a little short, like 7.5 on the total. And it's built. You're gonna see a lot of high numbers on these Rays, versus these fire sale teams. I think where you say it's like 183. So I would look to get involved with the Rays on the first five minus a half run. I think my book had it at minus 120. That's the number I like. I think they're going to get touched. I think both bullpens will get touched up here actually. So I think it depends how deep McClanahan goes. And if he doesn't get touched up early himself, but I just got a good feeling about this game with McClanahan to kind of shut him down early, and I think he'll get the job done here. I like the Rays minus a half run, minus 120 in this spot.
First five minus half at minus 120. The A's who hit McClanahan are gone. Chapman and Olsen are gone. So you take those two bats out of the lineup against McClanahan, why wouldn't he shut them down? Now, the Rays don't have great stats against Montas, but I get that. The A's have been doing okay versus lefties as well. Eric Jones on the over 7.5 at plus 100. TJ says McClanahan velocity up. I would throw out the previous. Says this is a live over spot once starters come out, and that does correlate with exactly what.
I like that look there. Be watching for this, when the bullpens get involved, because you'll see some runs coming in.
Well, let's see what we can get you now on that first five for these Tampa Bay Rays. Again, Darryl Rice joining us to break down the two NBA games here in about 16 minutes. Let's get this Rays action in for you. The first five minus a half is minus 111. Minus 111 right now.
Lock it down.
So Ragoo is on the Rays.
That's in my comfort zone right there.
First five minus a half. Minus 111. 1-0 Cubs, by the way. 1-0 Cubs, by the way. I get this look. I get this look that you are on. Jojo Rich leading to the A's team total over first five and full game. I find that look very interesting and appealing at that price. I'd just like to just quickly see what I would be offered if I was to make the same bet here for these Rays. First five minus a half, and I would be getting minus 120. Okay. All right, let's roll on. Next up, we have 7:05 p.m. Eastern, the Milwaukee. Oh, by the way, Donnie Rightside will be joining Jose Bouquet today on Say Hey Plays. Donnie Rightside and Jose Bouquet, what a great tandem they are. So check that out today, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Brewers 2-3. All five games have been played on the road. Orioles 1-4, but are 1-1 at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with in Camden. Here we have 82 Fahrenheit at first pitch and 10.5 miles out to center. That goes down to 7.5 and then down to 6.7. Let's just do another test here with the comparison to RotoWire here. And RotoWire has 9 miles per hour out. Okay, so there's all right, it's giving me a tiny bit more confidence there. We have Corbin Burns going up against John Means. Corbin Burns did not look great in his opener. 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and a 5-4 loss to the Cubs. John Means did look very good in his opener. 4 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, 1 walk, and a 2-1 loss at the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's go back to this site to give us the information on the market movement. This total opened up at 8, juice to the under. It's now at 8, juice to the over slightly. So it's juice to the under at minus 109. It's now juice to the over at minus 108. These are pinnacle market moves. The money line opened up at with Milwaukee at minus 177. They're now minus 168. There's been a 9-cent move towards the Baltimore Orioles. Neither team is hitting. Brewers 222, 628 OPS versus lefties, while the Orioles are just 211, 639 OPS versus righties. There's brothers and bets in the house. I got to hang out with both of them, and great cappers. Just landed in Vegas. Love hearing that, brothers and bets. Go get that cash, man. Both bullpens have been good, especially the Orioles bullpen, which has come as a surprise. Brewers bullpen 1.69 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. No surprise there. Orioles bullpen 2.22 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. Take a look at the cash flow here for this Brew Crew Oriole spot. We have 9,368 tickets in. 29% of the tickets, 33% of the cash on Baltimore, and a slight move towards them. Then 65% of the tickets, 80% cash on the under, and really no movement there. TJ says O's are pass, can't back Milwaukee bats except, especially with Crafty Means. Take it away, Ragoo. Here we go. Camden Yards, Brewers, Orioles.
Yep. I remember we used to call it Bundy Day when Bundy used to pitch. We used to bet against him all the time. Maybe we're going to start betting on Means Day, because I think this presents a little bit of value here. Whatever Insight said about the other game, I think this game, I haven't got to the window with it, but when I looked at it, from the surface, just the way that Milwaukee's been struggling, and Means is a crafty bet. This is the type of teams that Orioles, they'll go lose, to the Marlins and the lower tier teams, the D-backs, but when they play up against the tough teams, that's when they seem to get their W's. And I think it's priced in here. I think you get a little bit of value with Baltimore. I probably won't get to the window with it, but if I was seriously thinking about a value play, I would look at Baltimore in the first 5 on the money line. I think it's like 155, and I know it's shaded to the over, but I would maybe look at a first 5 under possibly too.
Bet365 has moved it to 7.5. Now that's plus 105 to the under. If I wanted to move it, they wouldn't let me move it back to 8. Interesting.
What do they got for a first 5?
The first 5 is at 3.5. This is at Bet365 minus 125 to the under. I'll see what Pinnacle has. Interesting. 3.5.
I'm not going to play it, but I would probably the better side for me would be Baltimore on the first 5 money line.
Yeah, because you're getting a nice price there. I'd be curious just to see what Pinnacle is offering up here. I mean, Brissot has great numbers against Means, but no one else has really seen them. Let's just see what the market is. Just compare it to Pinnacle here. So Pinnacle has this at 8. God. The under 8 right now, Pinnacle's minus 105. I mean, what? I tell you what, if I have an account at Pinnacle, it's just not full of money, but I tell you what, if Scotty Barnes wins Rookie of the Year, I'm going to fill this up and just leave my local alone because this is ridiculous. Under 8 is a minus 105 at Pinnacle. You got to use a 7.5 at Bet365. That's just bullshit. And then the first 5, if you back these Orioles, is plus 140 at Pinnacle.
Yeah. Hard leaning on that, but I got a lot of action out today, but when you recant, I might when you recap the action, I might put that down as a late ad. So I'm leaning that way real hard.
I get it. Let's just see what I would get for the first 5 here. I'd get plus 145 at 365. And just out of curiosity, if I turn that into a plus a half here, minus 120. Wow. Piker is playing Means first 5 plus 145. Wow. Okay. This is going to take some more thought, obviously, but I'm interested in the Orioles first 5. Moose Money says Burns was low key wild against the Cubs. I'd expect control to be better, or an indicator that there might be control regression. But I like Burns to figure it out. Piker says Burns may be off to a slow start. Getting hit for his Cubs means his quality. Why not grab that plus 145?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I love the Brewers. I mean, I got them top rated. You know, when we were in San Antonio, they're my top go-to starting rotation. But you know, they're struggling with the bats a little bit. You know, who knows what happens on the hill? But they'll get right. I mean, it's early on. They're going to figure things out eventually. But
by the way, and I thought about this because it affected a lot of my friends. Spenny had to cash out his Scotty B Rookie of the Year and Matthews top goal scorer futures at 365 because of the switch over to legal sports gambling in Ontario. We had this. Everyone had to switch it over. That would have. Well, who knows? Who knows, Benny? I don't want to act like that's going to cash at this point, but seeing Zach Lowe on him made me. It gave me some more hope here. All right, the Orioles' first 5 is certainly appealing. And the first 5 under is certainly appealing. Let's move on to and TJ says Brewers won't be down long. Take this first 5 spot while bats are cold. I like O's to get a couple off of Burnsy, and that should be enough.
There you go.
All right, let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. The Toronto Blue Jays now 3-2, 1-1 on the road. At the New York Yankees 3-2. All 5 games have been at home. Yankee Stadium, sure, Spenny, but by the tiniest of margins. Like it's. By the tiniest of margins, having a rookie defend all 5 positions on the floor. Has that ever happened before? I don't believe it's ever happened before, but we can talk about that here shortly. By the way, Dommy Gun has moved Baltimore total to 8, and the first 5 is at plus 145. All right, we are at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. What are your expectations on Jose Barrios after that horrible opener? Only made it through a third of an inning, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, no strikeouts in a 10-8 opening day win at home versus Texas. Going up against Garrett Cole, 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 1 walk, in a 6-5 extra inning win at home versus the Boston Red Sox. Let's start with the market moves here and then take a look at the cash and then hand it over to the Big Ragoo. So this opened up. Well, first off, the Yankees opened up as minus 130 favorites. That's moved to minus 161. Interesting. And this total opened up at 8.5 and has moved to 8. So expecting better performances, obviously, from both of these opening day pitchers for these 2 squads. When we go over to the cash flow here, this will tell probably an interesting tale. 9,028 tickets in. 44% of the tickets are on the Yankees, but 78% of the cash. Then 46% of tickets are on the under, and 74% of cash is on the under. Jays are hitting 265, 866 OPS versus righties so far this year. Get used to that. Yankees versus righties just 224, 683 OPS. Jays bullpen has been decent. It's been good numbers-wise, but still I'm not – it's the back end. Romero's a stud, but 3.81 ERA, 1.08 whip, and the Yankees bullpen has followed – the preseason expectations of being the best bullpen in baseball. 0.99 ERA, 0.80 whip. Joseph Gomez says we're expecting minus 220 on the Yankees. Only thing to take is Yankees team total over. Take it away here, Ragoo. Blue Jays, Yankees, AL East battle.
Your beloved Blue Jays against my beloved Yanks, right? We're going to see a lot of this shit this year. But if you're looking at the both starters' last outings, nothing to write home about. You know, they both got touched up pretty well. And do you want to kind of bank on one getting right versus the other? I say not. I would just I was kind of, taken aback when I seen the totals sitting at 8.5. And I know it was juiced to the over. I don't know if it's still sitting there, but there's only one way for me to look at this game. And I'm not going to bank on, it's like we're comparing Cole to Kershaw, of old, same thing with Cole here. He's I'm not saying he's past his prime, but I know he's their stud. He's the go-to guy. Barrios, same for Toronto. Until they can show me something against 2 teams that can mash and smash, give me the fucking over all day.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Interesting that it's being bet towards the under. When we look at the, it's not even showing me the God. We need to find a new site. Not even giving me the matchup against these 2 pitchers. That's annoying. I get the over. I get it. I really, really do. Tommy Gunn says, if anything, I'm with Doc. Oh, sorry, with the Orioles. Okay. Wow. So looking at, would you be preferring the full game over or the first 5 over?
Yeah, definitely full game over. Yeah, not a first 5. Because if it gets over in the first 5, it's definitely going over full game. There's not going to be no shutdown mode here, especially with these two guys. If they get touched up early, it's going to be like a bloodbath. Either way, I can see one team running away with it. Like 12-5, or And I can't tell you Toronto. I almost thought about taking Toronto on the plus because it looked very appealing at the 145 price. But I know you were cheering for the Blue Jays to lose. And what was the reason?
I want future bets on them. And they have a very tough 30 games. Yeah. And if that 8-1 could become 11.5 or 12-1, and that division could go up to plus 250 or plus 300, I will invest heavy. First 30 games are basically, we play you guys 9 times in the first 32 games of the year. We have all Red Sox, Yankees, and Astros. So, I just want in. Oh, yes. Jose Bouquet with very interesting news. Bill Simmons also going to vote Scotty for Rookie of the Year. Whew, okay, I don't want to get too caught up in that.
The hits keep on coming, brother. Let them keep coming.
Okay, so very interesting here that this total's gone from 8.5 to 8 at Pinnacle, but not at Bet365. They're still hanging that 8.5. Wonder why they're so slow to the take. I mean, clearly they must have money coming in on the over, unlike the other book.
That's scary when you told me the 8 at Pinnacle. I mean, just on the surface looking out, but what about how the bet's coming in? You say which way the ticket's working?
For the total, the big bets are coming in on the under. We have 46% of the tickets and 74% of the cash on the under. Wow, this is fascinating. All right, well, let's get you that over 8 at minus 111. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I'm not scared of that shit there.
All right, let's lock this in for Ragoo.
It's a long season.
8 over 8 minus 111. Oh yes, sorry, and I forgot to mention the weather here. And it's 66 Fahrenheit opening pitch, and the weather's not much of an issue. It's cloudy, it's not freezing, and it opens at 6.8 miles per hour across the diamond, very slightly in, and it cools down to 4.6 by the end of the game. So not much there. Spenny, Cade's not my worry. I do not worry about Cade. Sure, over the last little while, he's been until he got hurt, he's been the best rookie, but the advanced analytics all point to being, especially defensively, being between Mobley and Scotty. Harold Williams says Rookie of the Year has nothing to do with team success. Well, tell that to the voters because they seem to think that team success does have a part in the vote. Okay, so we have a parlay added by Dommy Gun, Mets Yanks at plus 201, and he's about to puff a bat and enjoy the Mets game. We love you, Dommy.
Puff a bat, Dommy.
Ragoo over 8 at minus 111 in the Blue Jays Yankees. So we're almost at NBA time. We have one game left, but I feel like there's money to be made in this game. I don't know what we're going to get from Barrios after that terrible start. I mean, it's easy to say he's going to be better. What are your thoughts on Barrios here in his second start after laying such an egg? Do you think he steps up here in the Bronx?
I mean, he can. I mean, the Yankees, they can be vulnerable, at times, they're always swinging for the fences, with that lineup. They don't hit for, they hit for power, if Barrios has got decent stuff, I'm sure he could handle his business. But then again, if he's wrong, I'm thinking one of these pitchers is going to be wrong in a certain way. I don't think we're going to see two ace-like performances, shutdown performances. I know that the number indicates that and the money's coming that way, but I'm going to say not. I'm going to say you got to prove it. You're going to have to prove it to me first. Like I say, I still think the batters have the advantage early on with that shortened season, preseason. And these guys, look at the Brewers, look at some other staff. Some of these guys are getting hurt early on. There's just too many variables for me, and you got to show me first. So show me first, and then I'll become a believer. But yeah, to answer your question, I think he can. it could be spotty. It could be a spotty type of situation for both pitchers here.
Sharpie has an interesting note. It says last time Barrios got destroyed on opening day, he came second in Cy Young voting. Wow. Okay, this game's going to take a ton more time. All right, last game on the board, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 2-3, all 5 games on the road. The Chicago White Sox 3-1, 1-0 at home. Right, guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. We'll start with the weather here. We have 62 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 4.6 miles per hour sideways in, slightly in, and that increases throughout the game, 7.7 miles per hour, then 8.9 miles per hour. Jason Folk says, love seeing some Ragoo on here. Respect the man.
Thank you, my brother.
Thanks for your mom. Yes, he was yes, I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Ragoo, a longtime DJ, and the man knows how to rock, man. He knows how to rock for 20-year-olds. As well. Robbie Ray, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 4 walks, and a 2-1 win at the Twins. Keuchel, 9-9, 5.28 ERA, 1.53 whip, 162 innings, 95 Ks, 59 walks. I want to fade Keuchel badly, but the White Sox are tearing the leather off of lefties. 324, 949 OPS, while the Mariners are hitting 100 with a 408 OPS off of lefties. Now, I know the sample size is tiny. Both bullpens have been good. Mariners bullpen 3.93 ERA, 0.93 whip, while the White Sox bullpen 3.38 ERA, 1.39 whip. Let's take a quick look at the market moves here in this one. We have the Mariners opening up as minus 107 favorites. They're now plus 105 dogs. And this is what stopped me from moving on a couple different things, was just the market was moving towards Keuchel having a good start because the White Sox smash lefties and the Mariners can't hit lefties so far this year. When we go over to the cash here, we have they saying there's slight line value on Robbie Ray. 53% of the tickets on Seattle, 36% of the cash though, and 51% tickets, 54% cash on the under. Final game on our MLB card, Big Ragoo, Mariners White Sox.
Seattle is a darling on the American League West. Keuchel, the old guy, he got banged up a little bit towards the season last year. He had some struggles coming out, but Robbie Ray's a great pickup for Seattle. I think he's going to be money for that team. I think everybody's kind of like, I wouldn't say overvaluing Seattle, but like you say, the way Chicago's hitting the ball, I think the big question mark is Keuchel. How's he going to come out in his opener, his first time out, against at home against these Mariners team, a hot Mariners team. But I think you're going to see a little bit of value built into the price just for Chicago because of the fact that we're going to see Keuchel come out. The bats are heating up for Chicago. When I first looked at it, I thought I wanted to get on it, but I've got to see. Like I say, there's another game you're gonna have to show me before I become a believer here. But I know the market's moved Chicago's way, and I tend to agree with that. I just tend to agree. I think that Seattle may be a little overvalued here, even though Robbie Ray had a nice first start out. I think the lineup, that Chicago lineup's going to pick up where they left off last year. La Russa running things. I think they're fire. I think they'll be able to get to the bullpen later on in the game, and I would definitely lean with the White Sox in the spot. I think the market agrees with me too. I think the numbers kind of ticked up from the 105 opener up to what is it currently now? You said 120, 118?
Well, right now at Bet365, the White Sox are minus 125. So we've had a huge
125. See, yeah, I agree with that move. That's one of the moves I agree with the market. I think we'll see. I think it'll be a lower scoring game too. Believe it or not, I think it might be juiced. I think it's stick down from 9.5 to 9. So I kind of agree with that. But I think Chicago is the play here. I lean Chicago, but I won't get to the window with it. But I lean Chicago.
This game is tough. If you want more breakdowns on these late games that
what about
are
the weather, Jimmy, rain, like 40% chance.
Oh, let me move over to that again. I'll check because here it doesn't. It just says cloudy. It says that the rain starts at the end of the game. It says drizzle to light rain at the end of the game. But let's just see what RotoWire is. RotoWire is saying differently. RotoWire is saying 40% chance of rain. So Very, very, very interesting. What a pleasure it is to break down the entire MLB card with the Big Ragoo, whom you will see here weekly on Betting with the Bag. Let's review all action. We both are involved in the Guardians-Reds game if it goes off. I got the under 4.5 first 5. Ragoo's got the under 9.5 full game. And TJ says Cleveland, Cincinnati back on the board for 115. By the way, Sharpie says just came across a crazy stat. Burns is 6-1 with a 1.27 ERA versus the American League in 13 games. Wow, that's wild. Ragoo is on the Mets first 5 minus 101 to get his card started up against Aaron Nola. Then we have Ragoo on the Boston Red Sox first 5 minus a half at plus 115, and Jose Buquette say hey plays of the day are on the first 5 team total over 2.5 at plus 130, and he got the Red Sox on the money line at minus 122, and he locked that in and tweeted that out earlier. Nothing for us in Dodgers Twins. Royals Cardinals is postponed. The Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is Houston -1 at minus 117. We got Ragoo on the -1 as well. And I'm on the first 5 under 4.5. Both Ragoo and I are each on the first 5 under 3.5 at minus 105 in Padres Giants. And Ragoo is on the Padres plus 109. Ragoo's on the Rays first 5 minus a half at minus 111. And I find it appealing. I find it quite appealing with the Rays smashing righties, McClanahan with his improved velocity, coming off a nice start against Baltimore, who hit lefties very hard last year, going up against Montas, who didn't look right in his first game, but is capable of turning it on. Then the Orioles first 5 we wanted to revisit. Ragoo, is that a move you want to make?
I'm going to stay off of that.
Going to stay off of that. By the way, Piker is on Boston minus 130, Baltimore first 5 plus 145, and the White Sox at minus 120. Ragoo's on the over 8 at minus 111 in Blue Jays, Yankees, and we are off Mariners, White Sox at this point. What a treat it is to work with you, the Big Ragoo. Thank you for sharing your hard work and insights with us. I can't wait to do this all year with you, my friend.
Looking forward to it, brother.
Ragoo was our champion in the NFL season of the 20 cappers we had on our NFL Pub Hub show. He was number 1, and we just all love you, man. So follow Ragoo on Twitter at Big Ragoo 62.
Ragoo, where's the belt?
The belt, I'll bring it back on when I come back on the next show. You want me to go get it?
No, it's okay. I guess not. Bring it back.
I'll wear the strap next time I come on, man.
Okay.
All love you guys, man. Love the chat, and I'll put the tweet, put them all out on Twitter too. The plays this way you can check it out.
Perfect. Please tag me so I can retweet it as well.
Amen, brother.
There he is.
Chat. We love you guys.
There he is, the Big Ragoo, and we love you, my man. We move from MLB to the NBA, and a man hitting 60% on the season. I do have to catch up a little bit on record keeping. I've been working on it the last few days. I fell behind about the week before we went to San Antonio, and then I blame the Kraken for not being up to date on the stats. So I will get that. But he was hitting just a taint hair under 60% when we last compiled all the stats, and I'll have them ready to go through the playoffs. Please welcome to the show from Los Angeles, California. It's Darryl in the house.
Yo, what is good, Jay? What's good, man? Happy to be alive. It is Wednesday, man, and happy to be back talking balls. It's been a little bit, so shout out to you. It's been a good season. And shout out to the Low Bag fam in the chat. Happy to see y'all again, man. Let's get it.
Let's get it, Darryl. Let's get it. First off, if you were voting for Rookie of the Year, whom would you be voting for?
I told you. You know it's got to be Scotty Barnes.
So we've had some updates. From Jose. So as you guys know, Zach Lowe is on Scotty Barnes. Bill Simmons is on Scotty Barnes, but Ryan Basilio is on Cade Cunningham.
No, he missed a lot of games. He wasn't available. I guess it does kind of help if you're putting up 50-point games, right? And how much of a difference he makes when he is playing. But I mean, the thing is this: Scotty Barnes is such a pivotal piece of that team. And we've talked about this, right? Like Nick Nurse doesn't even play the whole squad. He's only going to play 7, 8, maybe 9 in rotation. So you take Scotty Barnes out of that rotation. Man, I would love to see what the win-loss column would look like if he wasn't playing as many games as Cade Cunningham. You know? So in my opinion, I feel that Scotty Barnes wasn't just a great rookie, but he was needed in that system, right? Cade Cunningham, it was still a learning curve, in my opinion. Now, I mean, you can be a good player and a great scorer, which everyone isn't, but how much of a difference are you making on that team, right? Were they winning games with Cade on the team when he was playing? I don't know. Right? I don't know. When Detroit went on that, they were covering spreads, but when they went on their quick little streak of winning games, was he there? No. Astute loves Evan Mobley. I couldn't talk you off of that. The problem is he was just kind of lost in the sauce because that team is full of bigs. He did make a difference, but that team really did run through Jared Allen, right? And so what happens with Evan Mobley? You take Jared Allen out of the piece, right? Because he gets injured, and that team dramatically falls down. We were talking about this team, and even Dan Kelly had a future ticket for Cleveland going first in the East, right? First in the East. That didn't happen. And Evan Mobley was available. He was hurt a couple games, but he was available, Jimmy. But once you took Jared Allen out of the mix, you had a lot of injuries already, but Darius Garland's been a great fixture in that, you know. But once you took Jared Allen out of the mix, that would have been a great time for Mobley to shine and possibly win more games. But you saw a huge decline in the production because Jared Allen was gone. So I did go back and forth between Mobley and Barnes. If I had to choose the top two, it would be Mobley and Barnes. But you most definitely have to give it to Barnes.
Oh man. I gotta stay in my shoes. I haven't hit a big future in a long time, and I'm certainly not counting my chickens. But man, I would. They might just hatch, man. They might have already hatched. I mean, they already gave the award to Monty, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I think Monty Williams is he is. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he won the Coach of the Year award.
No, but that was from that wasn't the real award. That was a different. That wasn't that was like the players or something. I forget what it was, but he
won. No, he won.
But he hasn't been awarded Coach of the Year yet from the writers and the awards haven't come out
in the actual voting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he won. He did win he
did win something, right?
Yeah, Coach
right.
of the Year.
So
something, but
he pretty much that's an award he should have won last year, right? He should have won that last year for what he done. So it's pretty much making up for this year. But you look at the beat writers, and you know some of these these guys that are talking ball that's been really deep into it. They're all over Scotty. They're all over Scotty. They're over Scotty for Rookie of the Year. They're all on one of the most. Probably the biggest runaways is going to be Tyler Hero for Sixth Man of the Year, right? So I think Scotty's up there.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited. I mean, it's not a huge one too. It was just plus 650, but I did invest in it.
I don't care. That's damn good. You couldn't get it at 650 now.
Well, it's been they pulled it.
I mean, well, not now today, rather, but I mean, shit, probably mid-season. Close to the end of the season, that was negative money.
Well, Mobley was minus 700 when I bet it. Mobley was minus 700 when I bet it. It was the peer vote. The peer vote.
Peer vote. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Exciting. Dan Lopez says Minnesota coach should have won Coach of the Year. I'm surprised Nurse is not Coach of the Year.
Well, no, you can't give it to Nurse.
Because he won it already? Why?
Kinda. It was just you had other coaches that did more with less, right? Spoelstra hasn't had a healthy squad all year, and these guys come first in the Eastern Conference, which is right now the better conference than the West, right?
Agreed.
You're supposed to give it to Monty, but so he might just get it. We're not talking about what Taylor Jenkins has done with Memphis, right? This is another, what did we talk about at the beginning of the year? We're always going to have these, or I'm always going to have this, yo, Jay, what did we talk about at the beginning of the year? These small market teams saving basketball, right? That's Memphis. That's Memphis for you right there. Look, you got to even talk about what Pop is doing. Like, this man decided not to tank, bro. And we're going to get into that game later today, but they could possibly get over on Nollins today. So I'm just saying, Nick Nurse, I think it was just very, very crowded, but you just got to look at what coaches did more with less.
I hear what you're saying, but I mean, nobody thought that the Raps would end up 17 games over 500. But I absolutely hear what you're saying.
What do you think? Last question. What do you think about the noise about Nurse going to the Lakers?
Oh, we don't speak on it. We don't talk about it.
Yeah. I would just say that's all noise. What that's doing is getting him a larger bag. That's all that's doing.
Yeah. We don't.
But he's with Clutch, so he's going to get the bag.
Nurses, if that was to happen, which is something we just don't talk about, we've not, but if that was to happen, it's Masai whom we trust.
That's Masai.
Masai is our greatest Canadian. Nurse isn't our greatest Canadian. Masai is our greatest Canadian. So Masai will take care of us. It doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter if Kawhi leaves or Nurse leaves. Doesn't matter because we have Masai.
He's not leaving. He's just getting the bag. Cashman says Celtics Ime Udoka should be up there too. You goddamn right.
You're right. There's been unbelievably good coaching.
So it's just too clustered. It's too clogged right now. For Nurse. All right.
Spenny says Lakers keep their grubby hands out of T.O. and off Nick Nurse. Dennis Garcia says Nurse is the best coach in the NBA. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Stop, Dennis.
No, I love it. I love the Dennis. I'd like Dennis to lead us in because, look, we all had an idea of what was going to happen yesterday. And the fact that I wasn't on Brooklyn first quarter and first half was only because of the biases that we have and the vividness of the Cavs winning first quarters and first halves. But knowing the tragedy had happened in Brooklyn, it was just inane. It was.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that, Jay? We're talking about one fucking game. You go balls to the wall for one game. We're not going to even talk about really how I feel about playing tournaments, right? Like, we don't even get me started there because I'm kind of like, fuck the play-ins. This is what I would propose. I would say this, Jay. The play-in tournaments, if you are over 500 and you are in the top 7, you should be in, right? That 8th seed there should be one play-in tournament. It should be for the 8th seed. But there should not be any play-in tournament if the teams that are playing are under 500. Bottom line, just let the top 8 get in. What the fuck are we doing? Right? So, yeah, you're seeing the East a little more dominant over the West, right? But if you are under 500, you should not be playing for a playoff position. Bottom line. So it's cool to talk about. It's good banter. It makes for entertaining TV, but 7 and 8 are still going to be the 7 and 8, spots anyways, right? Spurs are not going to beat the Clippers. New Orleans is not going to beat the Clippers. Come on.
Yeah, no, I agree. And everybody in the chat does as well, especially Dennis, who is keeps it clean all the time. And he even says F the play.
F the play.
I've not seen. Yeah. That's about as emotional as I've.
That's funny because Dennis and I really don't agree on much, But I F the play-ins, F them.
Well, I'd like to talk about a couple things here before we break down these two games. First off,
I'm just running through my coffee, dude. I'm going to be sweating and talking over you like in the next 45 seconds.
Dude, we love it.
No, okay, let's do it.
First off, give me, and let's not go too deep into it because we're going to have lots of opportunities to do it, but your expectations and who you are leaning towards in Brooklyn Nets versus Boston Celtics.
Yeah. Brooklyn's going to have a really hard time. They absolutely will have a hard time against Boston. Boston has been the best team defensively, right? They're the number one defensive team in the league right now, right? I think they're funny and I think they're stupid, but at times you can kind of eat the meat and throw away the bones. And I mean Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley on NBA on TNT. I think the most cleverest guy they have is Kenny the Jet Smith. But Charles Barkley said something yesterday that made a lot of sense. And he says they are going to have a tough time with Marcus Smart, right? That is going to be a handful defensively. Kyrie is going to have his hands full with Boston, specifically Marcus Smart, right? And I think now something has clicked with Jason Tatum and with Jaylen Brown regarding them being the little bros of the league, right? The little bro superstars, if you will. So I think they're going to show out. People are talking about Time Lord not being in, which might hurt them. And to a certain degree, it does. But he doesn't have much playoff experience. But to still have Tice there, to still have Al Horford there, you still got bigs who have experience, who know how to play. You understand that the game does slow down, right? So you're going to run your actions. You're going to have your help defense be able to get to their spots. And pretty much you're going to have this game be totally relied on. Goddamn, Durantula and Kyrie. Now, what got the Nets really an advantage yesterday was the fact that Andre Drummond showed up, right? He's not going to be able to do that against the Celtics. With or without Time Lord, he's not going to be able to do it. So now you're losing your depth in your scoring, and you're pretty much going to have just your main three. That's Durantula, that's Kyrie, and then you hope that Seth could get alive. And so, I don't know. Now, you win a couple of games, you already see them gassing up Ben Simmons like he's walking around like he's Michael Jordan. But I'm telling you right now, man, Boston's on a different level right now. And when you can click defensively, you are a big problem, a huge problem.
Very interesting breakdown. And right now, the Nets to win the series are plus 125. I bet 365 to win game one, they're plus 155.
Isn't that funny that they're dogs?
I love it. I mean, I just love it. I can't wait to watch that series. And then before we move on to the two games here, we have Dennis Garcia moving on the Minnesota Timberwolves at plus 300. And he's been saying all year that he was going to fade the Memphis Grizzlies in round one of the series. And that is exactly what he is doing. What do you think of that? So
Dennis is on to something, right? I'm not bold enough to get there because it's fucking Minnesota, right? If you looked at another thing that they had put on the stats yesterday, Ja actually struggles against that team. He averages about 20 points, right? And D'Lo averages about 31 points in those games that they play head-to-head. How it works really is, I believe it's the home team who always wins. So maybe Jose can check me on that. But if you look at their 4 games that they've played, the home team has always won, right? So if this is going to come down to it, then you probably have a 7-game series, right? Because Memphis is going to have the advantage at home. Now, they played crazily well without Cat on the court, right? Didn't have a good game with Cat. Didn't really have a good game with Ant-Man until the second half, right? And then you got Pat Bev running around crying his ass off like they had just won the fucking trophy. I didn't get it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? You know, even before I could tweet it, it was already out there, right? So I was like, no, let me tweet this. But I wanted to say, like, yo, did we just see Minnesota win the championship? What the fuck is this? I know there's a lot of history with him and the Clippers and all that shit. But at the same time, Memphis is on a different level, right? They're on a different level. They're not the Clippers. They're not the Clippers. And Minnesota had a hard time with them yesterday. So I can agree to a certain degree with Dennis But I think all in all, Memphis is going to pull out and win this game. They're not going to beat Memphis in 7 games. You got Dylan Brooks, who's a dog. So the Pat Bev on Mini is the Dylan Brooks on Memphis, you know? So you got some grimy plays there.
Very, very, very exciting. What a fun season it's been in NBA, and it will continue to be that. By the way, our guy Harold Williams has the Nets in 7. I wonder, Harold, how are you going to bet that? Are you going to bet that series or money line each game? I'd be very curious to hear how you're going to bet that. And then Dennis also has the handicap series handicap at plus 1.5 at plus 120. Man, is this going to be fun? Very, 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 very fun.
I mean, if you've got an advantage, jump on those games now if you can, because one thing I do know is that Minnie isn't going to lay down. Right, they're not going to lay down, and you don't expect. You're kind of glad that Cat got that game out of his system, because you're going to expect him to play better as well too. But Memphis, man, them boys don't sleep on them boys. You see how they play without Ja. So I don't know if I can really get there. So cap these games early, get in early, because these lines are going to move.
This is so much fun. This is so much fun. Nufflush Allen says he'd like to do something nice for all of Darryl's hard work. He's going to donate his Lakers playoff tickets just to thank him for his hard work.
I can't stand Mike. I can't stand him. He's like, you know what I feel like? Mike is going to give me shit for the entire offseason about the Lakers until the season starts again, only because he likes it. He likes it. He likes throwing it in my face. He likes it.
He also likes you, so that helps.
I like Jimmy.
Canadian capper in the house. Let's go to the last point before we get into these games. Dennis Garcia says Minnie is young, youthful. I enjoyed the energy. The Clippers were more experienced. We're up 10. Minnesota was out Cat, and Minnie dug in, found a way. Coming of age game for them.
But Clippers were also injured. Right, we're talking about a completely different game if Kawhi is playing and Paul George is not 100%. So you're not going to see that in Memphis.
It was very, very fun game, and to not have any action on it made it even more fun for me, because I'd heard both sides. We had both sides yesterday, and it was really enjoyable. All right, let's go. Play in 9th place versus 10th place tonight. We start in the East. We have Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day on Charlotte Hornets. Now it's the NBA spreadsheet play day on the Charlotte's plus 5.5, and Wine Time Sports on the other side on the Hawks minus 5.5. Let's get to work, and let's stick with our old site, which kind of handled everything pretty well here. And let's see if it does again. I am nervous to handle everything pretty well in baseball. And it's going to do squat for us. God, this site just falling apart. How can it do it? Sorry, let me pull up the Action Network, which is at least we can trust it to work. Here we go. Move over to NBA. Sorry that I didn't have this prepped ahead of time. And all markets. All right, let's go. So the Hawks open up as 4.5-point favorites.
Right.
They were available for me at 5. I was staring at it. Could have had them if I wanted. Now they're 5.5. This total opened up at 236.5. It is dropped to 235.5. Now 235. And PointsBet is offering our first 234. Danny Lopez says, I want to attack the first quarter here. Maybe over or Hawks team total over. See, I was the other way. I was thinking that I was thinking about the Hornets very early, because I think the Hawks will take over the game late. But let's hear your breakdown. Let me just set a table for you from a cash flow standpoint. We're going to see a ton of action here. 30,489 tickets in. 39% of the tickets are on the Hornets and 51% of the cash. Then 38% of tickets are on the under and 66% of the cash. So we can understand why the market is moving towards the under. We're at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Hornets were 21-20 on the road this year, while the Hawks were 27-14 at home. Charlotte 3-2 over their past 5, 9th in pace over that period at 101.3 possessions a game. While Atlanta was also 3-2, 18th in pace, 99.1 possessions a game over that period. Hornets coming off their third straight win, 124-108 at home over the Wizards on Sunday. Their win total the most for a 10th place team in the Eastern Conference or Western Conference in 21 years. They went 2-2 against the Hawks this season. Bridges led the way with 20.2, Ball at 20.1, and Rozier at 19.3. They will be going forward without Hayward, who's out with an ankle injury. Hawks coming up for their second win in 3 games, 131-14 at Houston on Sunday. Trae Young led the NBA in total points and assists this season, averaged 28.4, 76 games. That's fourth best. The average points is fourth best in the league. He was held to a season low 9 points the last time these two teams met. John Collins has been ruled out. He has been playing 4-on-4, but won't be rushed back, and will unlikely be available on Friday if the Hawks advance. Lou Will, lower back, won't play versus Charlotte, missing his 4th straight game. So DeLon Wright will handle the backup point guard minutes behind Trae Young. Here we go, Darryl. NBA playing East 9th versus 10th. Hornets, Hawks, take it away.
Yeah. So first off, I don't give a shit about this game, really. I don't. But I did play something on the game. The first thing I looked at was we're talking about one game, and we're talking about playoffs, play-ins to the playoffs. What you got to understand is, regardless if it's a play-in or whatever, this game is going to slow down. It's got to, because every basket counts. So I've already stepped on the under when it was at 237. I got it at 236.5. So I've taken the under on this game. You saw the same thing happen in Minnesota. You saw the same thing happen in Brooklyn. I don't think these games get to 230, 240. I just don't. I really don't. I think the most safest play on this game is the total game under. It's the under. Now, let me give you the flow of the game. This is the type of game where you've got more playoff experience on Atlanta's end than you do Charlotte's end, right? So what's going to happen is if you're going to take this game or a side, you got to take Atlanta early. Atlanta scores more points in the first half than Charlotte. But we've talked about this ad nauseum. Charlotte will make those adjustments, and they will come back in the second half. This is the type of game that it is going to be. Atlanta early, Charlotte late, right? So if you like Atlanta, take them first half, take them first quarter, right? Allow Charlotte to go in at halftime, do a whole bunch of fucking cocaine, and then come back in the second half, and then make it either close or beat them outright.
That's a great breakdown, and it all makes sense, especially the under. We watched both games go under yesterday, and we're not sure if the market has corrected themselves. If I gave you a free play at 5.5 full game, $500, what side would it be at a pick'em?
Well, right now, what is it? The home team wins. This is another one, right? Where the home team always wins and they cover. So not only do they win, but they cover the spread, right? So if I'm just going to bet from a sides perspective, I'm going to go with Atlanta. Atlanta at home, Atlanta with the more experience, right? But I'm just toggling between the fact that Charlotte actually scores more points. They're like second, third in the.
Oh, we just lost Darryl for a second. Let's
Am I
there
there?
he's back. Oh, you're back in action. You're back in action. It was just a second. Sorry, we missed that last sentence.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm hooked up. Okay, everything's
No, you've been
charged.
smooth. Everything's been very, very smooth. That just
Okay.
happened.
So what I'm saying is if I have to take a side, it's going to be Atlanta. The home team wins, the home team covers, right? But you cannot discount the fact that Charlotte is in the top 3 in second half scoring, right? This line's at 5.5, and it hasn't really moved off that. It's gotten 5, right? Or I think it was at 4, but it's got steamed up. That's the other game. But I'm telling you right now, this is a game to where I would have to look at Atlanta. But the fact that Charlotte does make great adjustments and comes back in the second half, that's something that cannot be discounted. So I really like the under in this game. I don't think this gets to 230 at all. I don't.
Well, we have one game we have one book, and that's Bet365 giving the hook. So all the other books have moved to 235 flat. This is at it's up to 6 at Bookmaker, says Billy. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. We can get you a 235.5 at -110. 235.5 at -110. LJ says Charlotte, great second half team. So Hawks are up at the first half. Take the Hornets second half.
Yeah, I'm going to do this. Let me look at something really quick. I am going to step on at home. They're terrible. Give me Charlotte Hornets first half, or I'm sorry, Atlanta Hawks first half.
Right.
Atlanta Hawks first half. That under is scaring me now because it hasn't really moved that much down further from the 236.5 where I got it. Give me Atlanta Hawks first half, and give me the under. Atlanta Hawks first half and the under.
First half here is -3 at -111. Let's see if we can beat that at circa here. First half spread is -3 at -107. So we'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
First half -3 at -107 for Darryl. So Hawks first half -3 at -1.
I'm seeing that it's dropped to 234. Like I got in at 236.5. So now, I mean, if we can get it at 235.5, I'll go that route, but I probably won't go any further.
I did refresh it. I did refresh it, so that is available to bet right now at the 235.5 at -110. And I saw that Action Network says PointsBet's brought it down to 234 as well. Piker says Atlanta first half where the players play and ride on them. Thanks. Okay, all right. I'll leave that. But Piker lead believing in Atlanta first half. And yes, Brian is confirming that it's dropped to 234 at PointsBet. So maybe that should be better as soon as the show's over. All right, let's move into the final play-in game. And both of them are exciting and interesting. And I know that these two teams, Spurs 34 and 48, Pelicans 36 and 46, probably don't deserve this opportunity. But I am interested in this game. Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's move over to the market move here. We have this total opening up at 229, has dropped all the way to 224. A big drop. Pelicans opening up at -5. They're now at -5.5. From a cash standpoint, we have 26,921 tickets in, 64% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on the Spurs. From a total perspective, 60% of tickets on the under and 96% of the cash on that over. Dennis Garcia says in the one-game elimination, give me the team with the best player catching points. DeJounte Murray is the best player, and that's a lot of points. San Antonio plus 5.5 and the money line. Eric Jones says 121, 118 over all day. Junior Doe says Spurs first half. Harold Williams on Spurs plus 5.5 and likes DeJounte over 23.5 points. Piker says, give me the points here. Spenny Penny Bombs is on Devin Vassell threes, Murray triple-double, and Herb Jones steals. Sammy Comer says, could only look Spurs. Spenny says Spurs points, and Piker says Spurs. Spurs are 2-3 over their past 5, 11th in pace at 100.3 possessions a game, while the Pelicans are 2-3, 27th in pace at 97.5 possessions a game. Over that span. Spurs finished the season on a 3-game losing streak. They were last seen in a 131-20 loss at Dallas on Sunday. San Antonio won both meetings with the Pelicans in New Orleans. 107-103 was their last win, March 26th. DeJounte was excellent this year. 21.1 points, 9.2 assists, 8.3 rebounds. My goodness. And Lonnie Walker stepped up in a big way. He averaged 15.3 games in the second half of the season, and he put up 24 against Golden State, but he sat on Sunday, and he's dealing with a back injury, sore back. He says he's going to play through it, but he's dealing with it. He's full go tonight. Pelicans closed the season on a two-game losing streak. They were last seen a 128-107 loss at home versus the Warriors. First postseason game in 4 years. And CJ McCollum was a big difference maker with Zion out all year. And if you saw pictures of Zion, it made me sad. It made me sad seeing him, how big he is. It's a lot of pressure on his feet, and he's just way too big right now. Brandon Ingram, 22.7 points per game, and he practiced fully Tuesday. He expects to play Wednesday. He dealt with 3 different injuries this year, all related to the hamstring, missed 27 games. Take it away here, Darryl. Spurs, Pelicans.
We've talked about this ad nauseum on how we like to take the Spurs, right? We like to take them away, and we like to take them as a dog. And LJ is right already in my lane. Spurs first quarter is the play. They will smack New Orleans in the first quarter. They're split the first quarters 2-2 in the 4 games they've played. One of those games was an anomaly. They had only scored 10 points in the first quarter. Right? What did I say earlier as well? If you give Pop time to game plan and scout, he will give you a good first quarter. So give me Spurs plus 1.5 first quarter. I believe that's a money line play. Spurs will win the first quarter, right? So I'm making that official. Spurs first quarter plus I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. That's it. That's it. This is the perfect condition for it. They're away and they're dogs. This is when you take them first quarter, right? This is when you take them first quarter. You take them when they're away, and you take them when they're dogs, and you take them when Pop has had time to scout and game plan and know how to execute what he's going to do. So I would not be surprised if the Spurs outright win the first quarter. Now, as far as the game itself, this could be a Spurs game, man. I mean, Pop has got that energy going with his squad right now. He told you why he wasn't thinking about tanking. That says a lot for players and their own pride on how they don't want to go out there. They always want to compete. At this level, they want to compete. So I'm saying, look at Spurs, look at them first quarter, because this is the prime example of when they're going to hit that first quarter. So I like it. Spurs, I got them at plus 1.5 at minus 105.
We can get you +2 at minus 111 right now. Curious to see what it would be for me. Oh, I can do that on main. Sorry, main market here. Plus 1.5 at minus 105 too for me. Yeah, too bad. That +2 is nice. Very interesting. I did not think I was going to have a bunch of action. Oh, minus 108. Thank you, Billy, my man.
Give me the +2.
Yeah, +2 minus 108. This has become very appealing. The more I think about it, the more I think that the Spurs will relish this opportunity. And yeah, the very, very, very interesting breakdown. There's one last thing I wanted to pull up quickly. I just want to take a look at these. Oh, no, they weren't given to me. They're sorry that our old site was not helping us. By the way, Spenny Pennybaum's also on Charlotte plus 5.5 in the money line. And he's moving on Herter over 2.5 threes, LaMelo Ball, triple-double at plus 850, Spurs plus 5.5, DeJounte triple-double plus 450, Devin Vassell over 2.5 threes at plus 160, and Herb Jones steals over 1.5 at plus 100. Very, very, very interesting breakdown, and it makes a ton of sense. So we have Darryl has moved on 3 spots. He's on the under 235.5 at minus 110 in the playing game. He's on the Hawks first half -3 at minus 107. And he's on the Spurs first quarter at +2 at minus 108. I love it, Darryl.
That's where I'm rolling. That's where I'm rolling.
And then on Friday, we have no action. Friday a day off?
No, Friday is going to be the results of these 2 games.
Okay.
So you have 2 games on Friday. Right now, it looks like it's going to be the Clippers against whomever tonight, right? And then you'll have the Cavs against whomever tonight.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, great. So we'll have a lot of action for us on Friday. So Friday we'll have a ton of action. So there's no NBA tomorrow. Okay,
no NBA tomorrow.
Okay, beautiful. Darryl, it is an absolute pleasure capping NBA with you. You've been a stalwart all year long. Thank you for sharing your hard work, and your energy is just We all feel it, and we all love capping with you, my guy.
Appreciate it, man.
Dodgers are up 3-0 right now. Billy Friedrich says, great work, Darryl. I'm riding with that.
Appreciate you,
First
Billy.
quarter Spurs look. Derek
Let's
Miller
get it.
says, pop goes the weasel, and the weasel will pop. Popcorn is cooked tonight. Nathan Sterner says, I feel like you are right. Darryl, I just hate betting against the Pellies at home.
That's why you do it early. Get in, get out, right? So where you go to where what's always hitting, and that is San Antonio first quarter. They're pretty good.
Let's get it. Let's get it. My other hat got mangled. My other Spurs hat got mangled in the X-ray machine. I should spend a little bit of time in the afternoon.
Oh, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. In the spirit of baseball, I don't know if Jose could send me a link to where I can get the Flying Chanclas shirt. I want a Flying Chanclas shirt.
I can get that arranged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got a link for
that in our culture.
Yeah, I want to get a Flying Chanclas baseball shirt or hoodie.
Well, I can give you the hat right here.
Yeah, well, you look like a nerd in that hat.
Well, I am indeed. But just remember, Darryl, my culture, we support hitting our children.
Yeah.
That.
Hey, bruh, come on. You know what we do.
You'll be glad to know that I do not hit my children. So we don't all have to be the same, but we can love each
Jimmy,
other.
if you weren't getting your ass whooped as a kid, you weren't human. I mean, that's just the way. That's what I thought. I thought everybody got their ass beat. I did. I got my ass beat every day, probably for like 2 years straight.
See, my father just mentally destroyed me.
Oh no!
So it was psychologically. Thank you. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful, Darryl. What a treat it is. Friday, another big day. And then you will see Darryl here on the show throughout the entire NBA playoffs and back again next year because we love capping with the man. Darryl, great work. Keep rolling like you have been doing all year. Danny A says, getting my ass beat as a kid is what made me a successful man I am today. Says,
there you go, Danny. There you go, Danny. That's what I'm talking about, man. Just part. Hey, you get your ass beat for the culture.
Yeah, Piker says his father wouldn't let him speak to Bernie Kosar. Look, that's not what I'm mad at.
Hey,
I'm not that. The Bernie Kosar night is not part of it. All right, Darryl, I love you, buddy. Thank you for sharing your hard work. Follow him on Twitter at It's Darryl. Yeah. Darryl, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Hey, you know what I'm gonna say, man. I appreciate you all. Didn't open up with it, but any day on this side of the day or any day on this side of the grass is a good goddamn day. So enjoy it, relish it, and I will see you in 48 hours, brother.
We will. There he is, coming to us from Los Angeles, California. It's Darryl in the house. So just again, to review NBA, we have spreadsheet play of the day from Ron Crawford is the Hornets plus 5.5. Darryl is on the under 235.5 in that game, and the Hawks first half -3 at -107 as well. He's on the Spurs first quarter +2 at -108. Let's review action. The taint play of the day is the Padres money line at +110. The spreadsheet play of the day in baseball is Houston -1. The spreadsheet play of the day in NHL is the Rangers -1. In NBA, I did nothing. In NHL, I did nothing. And I don't expect to. I'm too excited about MLB and NBA at this point, and I don't really like this card, and I'm coming off a winning day. And thank God we had Gogster, who is on first period, both teams to score at +140 in Habs Jackets, and the over 6.5 at +100. Then he's on no goal the first 9 minutes and 30 seconds in the Kings Avalanche game at +130. Neither of us moved on the Rangers Phillies game or Flyers game. Then in MLB, I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 in Guardians Reds. That game is off, and the bases are loaded with 2 out in the top of the second. I do not like that. And I should have moved on that over in Pittsburgh. And runs come in. Get out of the inning.
Walked in a run.
Ugh, yuck. Okay, I'm on the first 5 under 4.5. Got to get out of this inning. Ragoo's on the full game under 9.5 at -120. Ragoo's on the Mets first 5 at -101. Get an update there. 0-0 in the bottom of the second. Say hey, play of the day is the Red Sox first 5 team total over 2.5 +130, and the Red Sox first 5 at -122. It is very early there. They're done 2 innings, and it's
Full
1
game.
Tigers.
full game money line, not first five money line.
Oh, is that full game money line? Oh, thank you for saying. Okay, sorry, my bad. Full game. Okay.
By the way, for the people that watch Say Hey Plays, I figured out a way to bet against the Seattle Mariners tonight that does not involve betting on Dallas Keuchel. So tune in for that.
Ooh, all right. Okay. And Donnie Rightside will be Jose's guest today. So it'll be a great, great show. And Jose running hot early. Okay. So Dodgers Twins, no action. Then I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 in the Astros Diamondbacks. The spreadsheet play today, as I said, is the Astros -1. Ragoo also on that Astros -1. Then I'm on the first 5 under 3.5 in Padres Giants with Ragoo. We both on it. Ragoo's also on the Padres +109. Ragoo's on the Rays first 5 -0.5 and -111. I'm interested in that spot. I'm also interested in the Orioles first 5. Not entirely sure how I will attack it. Ragoo is on the over 8. At -111 in Jays Yankees, and I still want to look into that game further. Mariners White Sox, no action, and that is betting with the bag on Wednesday, April 13th. It's time to get to work on tomorrow's card because it's monstrous. It is a monstrous. We have no show without the great guys and great women as well in the chat. Jay Peasy, live bet the Red Sox at +125. Derek Miller says love, peace, and hair grease. Says love this show, respect. Matty Ice says if you are betting against the Tigers, take full game. That's a great note from Matty Ice. And thank you, Nate Dog 420, Nate Cerna, Eric Jones, Danny A, Brian Pacone, North Ender, Poker Addicted 79, aka Piker, aka Seamus Igner Amos, Jason Folk, Teflon Don, Spenny Penny Bombs, AOD, Mike M, all you guys, Keon Jackson, Vipe. Thank Galactic Highs on Atlanta, Charlotte, first quarter under 60. Wine Time Sports, Billy Friedrich, El Dorado, Custodian, Astute Chaos, Little C, Eric Jones, Canadian Capper, No Something. Love you guys. Thank you for all your support. Thank you to my producer of the show, Jose Bouquet, does such a great job. And from all of us at Pop Sports Radio, Jeff Slaughter, Jose Bouquet, myself, thank you for your support. Don't forget Prize Picks at 3:10 p.m. Eastern, and then Say Hey Plays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Oh, and NBA Pub Up at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're packed. We got a packed day, so stick around on the channel and get the motherfucking cash. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers.